Good morning, everybody. My name is Leather Rock. You're not. And it's a code blue outside. It was 17 degrees. It's now 18 here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where I'm filming. And let me take this off if you don't mind, because yeah, it is cold out there. I went around the block. I tried to find Garfield. I have not found that cat in the last about 4 days. If I find him, I'm going to bring him inside and I'm going to shoot video with him. I don't know where he's at. Got to put this someplace. So, yeah, it's cold and it's harder and harder to find some of the homeless people here because apparently the city got in the vans and they took some of them to some hotels around here. But actually, no, the hotels aren't anywhere near where their friends are. They decided to put them clear out Galloway Township, or maybe it's Egg Harbor Township, or someplace out on the mainland, which doesn't make any sense. If you're out on the street and your support network, all your friends are here locally, I guarantee you most of the homeless people don't have bus tickets stashed away, and they're not going the city and that city and stuff. They tend to stay close around. And if you're going to ship them far off where it's probably going to be hard for them to get snacks for their room or something, and it's so cold, everybody knows that, but you would think that you would have them. Why don't they get some, assuming we have vacancies in some of these cheaper hotels on Pacific Avenue? It would be so much more convenient. Why don't you put them there? Scuff Frank, hey. Amir, hello, how you doing? I tried to be a little bit more prepared this time than I was the last live stream. Amir, I was thinking about you. I do think about my viewers. I'm not selfish, even though as a content creator, yes, I am going to call the shots on my channel. But Amir, I was thinking about you when you were saying you wanted me to have more of a fashion show with some of these face masks, even though I already have done a fashion show for the face mask. My see this doesn't isn't this bitching? This goes with my hair. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go out today or not, even though I do not have a calendar to speak of, and I feel so disoriented without paper calendars. I know a lot of people, you use your cell phones to keep organized and stuff. I like to write things down. I just do. I prefer to write things down. My Miniki Nico, one of many. So, do you like my hair? Oh, I believe yesterday I briefly touched about frugality. Thank you. Thank you, Burger Boy. Anybody watching, there is somebody, his channel is Burger Boy. He shocked the shit out of me yesterday. He made a video based on two of my dancey videos. One was a workout video where I used Ace the Cat, and I had my hair in cornrow braids, and I was sporting my six pack because this was when I was working out like 6 days a week, hardcore, and I thought I looked good. And Burger Boy made this video with the exercise video and one where I was actually dancing to dubstep with some old friends of mine who are dead. So that was actually a very special video because featured two friends who are no longer with us, and who doesn't want to immortalize their dead friends? So, if you wonder what's in this empty mug here, I want to show you guys something. This is not coffee. This is tea. And most people, you use tea bags, you put them in one cup, right? And you think you're getting a deal. Well, guess what? You guys got it all wrong. Let me show you. since there seem to be some people that think that I'm spending a whole bunch of money and I neglect cats and I neglect the people I love and I'm throwing a bunch of money, which I'll show you I don't have. I take a tea bag. You could make a whole pot of tea with one tea bag. This is just a plain normal sized tea bag. This happens to be Tetley, but you can use any brand. Now, look how big this coffee pot is. This is approximately, it's a 10 cup pot. Now, what you do is you put stick the tea bag in, let the water go through, then you dunk it. You dunk it like at least 100 times. You remember Dr. Oz, he would say you always dunk the tea bags, and that way all the phytonutrients, all the antioxidants, all the good things that we get nutritionally from tea, you make sure that it infuses your water. Well, I do that with my coffee bags also. Dunk them a bunch of times. So seriously, all you people who think that one tea bag goes in 1 cup, and then if you're lucky, maybe you get a second cup out of it. No, you can brew a whole pot of tea. You can do it with a bigger tea bag, a bigger pot. As a matter of fact, did you know you could take a bigger pot and you put water in it, stick it on the stove, put the water to a boil, let that water continue boiling. Now, some people will say you shouldn't boil tea because tea's fragile and it's delicate. And if you boil it, you break down. No, you want to get more use out of a little tiny bit of tea. Trust me, do this. This works with green tea. This works with black tea. This works with orange pico tea. I would guess it would work with any kind of tea. You save a whole lot of money that way. Imagine if you go to the dollar store and you get a box of 100 tea bags. Could be a cheap brand, probably won't be Tetley or the normal, shall we say, the modern brands, which have a lot of big advertising dollars and they're a lot more expensive. You take a tea bag, you can make a whole pot, save you some money. Now, I'm going to guess that most of you watching me making a lot more money than me, but you still want to save money, don't you? So, I mean, I feel I shouldn't have to set the record straight and I shouldn't have to explain my life just because a few people who think they used to know me decades ago are going to pass judgment on me because they think that, or whatever they think. I can't worry about that. I remember being a 5-year-old little girl and 6 years old and having to deal with the bastards in the public school system. And there's a lot of nasty little kids because kids can be pretty rotten, especially if their parents don't raise them to treat people right. So, oh, and you're having snow. I love snow. We got cheated out of snow. We got snow for about a half hour. Then the rain happened. Oh, and when I decided it was time for me to rinse my hair, I'm real pissed off about this. Went in the bathroom, take a shower like most people in the Western world who have normal facilities to keep themselves clean. I'm assuming most of you people have showers and bathtubs and stuff, unless maybe you believe in only showering and bathing 3 times a year. So, and I do get sarcastic. You should know me by now. So I go rinse out my hair. Fucking shower, bathtub is a fucking goddamn mess. Okay, so the tub is stuffed up. It's got sand, all kinds of debris, because apparently some people don't wash off their feet before going and taking a shower or something. And there's a lot of people, us locals, we like to be on the beach 24/7. In the wintertime, people like to walk on the beach. Sometimes people take metal detectors out there and their shovels. And, you get your gold and your coins and your jewelry and all that stuff, right? Anyway, you rinse your feet off so that your sand doesn't clog the pipes. That's what civilized people do, right? But no, not everybody's civilized. The older you get in life, you're going to learn that not everybody's civilized. Okay, so I go into thinking I'm going to rinse out my hair. I got this great hair color, right? Wrong. Can't get in there. Then I think, okay, a few minutes later, I'm going to go there. No, door's closed. Somebody's taking a shower. Well, how did the water go down to take a shower? It uses a toilet plunger. How do you use a filthy, dirty, E. coli infested toilet plunger that I assure you was not washed with anything? And you're going to plunge the tub that people bathe in. No, I don't think so. That's disgusting. See, it's not just me. I ran it by my mother, and of course, whenever I bring anything up to her, it's never a convenient time. Of course, maybe a lot of people don't like to be disturbed at 4 or 5 in the morning. Do you think? But you see, I am very nocturnal, and what I did specifically, I knew that I wanted to do a live stream this morning, and I was still kind of tired last night, so I actually did a partial face wash. I just took my eye makeup off except for my eyebrows, which I didn't fuck with. And I so that I could do fresh eye makeup that was a different color than what I wore yesterday, because I did 2 filmings yesterday. You saw the one, but there's another thing you're going to see maybe tomorrow. So I said I want to do, and I wasn't even sure exactly what I was going to talk about. I just wanted to go live and just that hopefully I would have some people to talk to, which I do. And see, that's a great thing now that my channel's taking off a little bit. I get a lot more people in the chat room that I can talk to. And I like that because nobody likes to feel like they're talking to a brick wall. But it's cold out there, and Garfield the cat is nowhere to be found. So you guys have any beverages you want to pour? Time for me to have something to drink. I'm thirsty myself. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give me a second. Let me put this back in the kitchen. I'm back. So now I'm gonna be talking about a bunch of stuff. This is not organized. This is free form. I don't have any weed, so I can't smoke where I ain't got. This is a cheap ass ghetto excuse for candle holder, but I used this to burn a candle yesterday, and I had that red bad boy candle going on all day. And I'm not going to go too much into that, but I was pretty pissed off yesterday. And yesterday is Tuesday. Tuesday's a day of Mars. Mars is not just a planet; it's also a god of war and of poetry, but mostly it's used for war and things like ambition and things like when you got to take the initiative, or sometimes you have to smack down a bitch. Not maybe smack down physically, even though yes, it could be, but just it's when you need aggressive, dominant energies, when you have to take care of business or maybe defend yourself. I like to work with planetary energies. This is something I haven't really talked about on my channel. So I make very vague allusions to, because I know that I have lots of different kind of people watching me, some of whom have very deeply held religious beliefs that may include that you don't like to associate with people like me because of the things that I do, certain cultural practices and intellectual practices I do that some people's holy books say it comes from Satan. And therefore, anybody that has any psychic sensitivity or is into things like divination or tarot cards or casting runes or whatever, that's a demonic thing, and you shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't associate with people like that. And I think that's kind of ridiculous that you should have such a visceral reaction to somebody who is merely using one of the many techniques that have been around for thousands and thousands of years that people like to use to learn more about their world. And frankly, to be able to have a way to access more information, I don't see why anybody would have a problem with that. We live in an information age. With the internet, most people have some kind of a device that you can get any kind of information you want. So why then would there be a problem with learning more about uh, what's your best option of the options you have available to you, or what's the best way to help a struggling friend that you know something's up and they can't communicate fully what's up, and you want to help them because you want to be a good friend? there's lots of reasons why you would want more information. So, like I said, I hope that none of you guys have some kind of constraints that say that I am something to be feared, because that's simply not the case. I have no ill will toward anybody that doesn't deserve it, and I want to be a force for good in my life, in the world, and on YouTube. I don't want to lead people astray. I want to be helpful. I want to entertain and teach what I can. And I want to be a good citizen of the earth. And I want to help my neighbors, some more than others. Oh, I bet this team is going to be good. My my cup given to me by my dead friend Jim. Wherever you are, dude. Thanks for your friendship. Matter of fact, my dead friend Jim, he got me this. I thought that I'd lost the original clapboard that I actually brought back from Hollywood, California, and I have the wooden part that does this, but I lost the screw on one of those midnight beach raves they have uptown in the summertime on the full moons. We've been having these rave parties. You get a bunch of DJs playing the techno music. Some of the DJs are better than others. Like sometimes I went and the music was really good and really danceable. Other times I would have fallen asleep if I'd sat down. But anyway, when I thought I misplaced this first one, my friend Jim sent me another one. And it actually said Universal Studios on it, but I took electrical tape and I put it on there so that I could have this playing stuff. But these are real Los Angeles clapboards, and there are many different kind of clapboards that you can use if you've ever been on a movie set. I know a whole lot about movie sets because I was an extra in lots of movies and stuff. And 5 lines or less, which is a step above being an extra. And then there's featured, which is when you get the close up, and there's a little bit of a hierarchy on film sets and stuff. So, oh, what do you think about the Iowa caucuses? Who won? Trump. And what do you think about inflation? High gas prices, high food prices. This sticker of Biden I actually got from a skateboarder. He took it off of the bottom of his skateboard and he gave to me summer before last. So I think that's kind of cool. But it is brittle, brittle and brutal and bitter outside. You got all these little frozen over puddles, and you could slip and fall and you could break a bone on the ice like I did when I was in third grade. I used to come home from school because we lived across the street from grade school, and I found a little patch of ice about yo big. I decided to go play in it with sneakers, and I fell and I broke my arm and the ulna and the radius. Those are two main bones. And at the time, I was taking violin lessons. So, needless to say, I'm in the cast. I'm not fiddling around. And my mother ended up having to teach me how to read music so that I could catch up to my class when I finally got the bandages off and the cast and all that. Yeah, third grade trauma. I'm telling you, kids bastards in my school. When I entered the public school system, we started to have some serious racial problems in the Atlantic City public schools. And I'm just telling the truth here. If this hurts some people, I can't help that. I'm just telling the truth, which people don't like that. That's frowned upon in the YouTube establishment. But no, growing up, going to school, some of those kids were sons of bitches. And they never had supervision when you had recess before or after lunch or whatever it was. I guess it was right after lunch. Who could imagine not having a grown up to watch to make sure kids don't do anything messed up? They chased me up the tree, the kids. I was always it during dodgeball. They always threw that ball, trying to hit me in the face, and I'm sure it did. Those kids, they were really bad kids in grade school. Bad, 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 bad sons of bitches. They were bad, yes. And you know how many times my parents took me to the principal's office to report different kids for things like they would take me, pull me by my hair, drag me down to the ground, and kick me in the head, step on me. It was not white or Spanish little boys and girls. Nasty little black girls that did it to me. I don't know why. Why would you go out of your way to teach your children to target people of different races? That was going on in the Atlantic City public schools when I was growing up. My mother would tell you herself, I did not enjoy my school time. I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of it. School was very profound in some ways. I remember my parents raised me, well, my mother specifically. F word was like the worst word in the English language. And I really felt that you say the word fuck, God's going to strike you down with a lightning bolt. And I finally realized in fifth grade, all these kids are saying fuck this, fuck that, pussy, different things, and nothing ever happened. The only repercussion was at home. And sometimes I would hear my father say things because he liked to go out drinking with his buddies and stuff. But obviously, nothing happened to dear old dad. But yeah, my mother, she just does not like certain words. See, so it's cold out there. It's so cold. The dealers aren't hanging around as much. It's so cold. Oh, I lucked out yesterday. The last time I did a live stream, I think I did a stream for like over 5 hours. Last time I did a stream that long was when my mother and I were cooking Thanksgiving with a bunch of things. And I do have in my cooking playlist, because all my stuff is organized into playlists. So you can watch a whole, go watch and watch and watch it if you have subjects you like a lot. And yeah, can you imagine messing around in the kitchen for 5.5 hours? And we did that. And people were watching. I don't know if anybody ever watched all the way through. I featured both my cats. My mother, who, by the way, says that she doesn't think she's going to be on this channel anymore. She's mad at me because she's been wanting a haircut and color for like this past month and a half or so. And whenever it's convenient for me, it's not convenient for her. And sometimes in the summertime, it's really hard to do because it gets so hot and sweaty when you live in a house with no air conditioning. And when the scalp is sweaty and your hair is sticking to your scalp, and the person has short hair and you have a short haircut, they plasters to the scalp, and it's very hard to cut it. And then it curls up when it gets wet. And I prefer to give my haircuts dry. So, and like I said, when it's convenient for me, it's not convenient for her. And even if we're both awake and it's 4 in the morning, she says, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I tell her, I said, no matter when I bring something up, it's never a good time. Just like when I mentioned to her that that place was a mess in there, and there was no way that I was going to get in there to rinse my hair. You want to know how I had to rinse off my hair? I will show you. Take a walk with me. This falls under the category of this is ridiculous. Okay, I'm taking you into my kitchen where we actually have a nice refrigerator. This refrigerator. Do you remember that scuzzy, disgusting hazmat refrigerator we finally got rid of? That it had wildlife in it, six-legged and four-legged probably. It was just disgusting. So disgusting. Well, you want to know how I had to rinse my hair out? I had to use this disgusting sink. That, by the way, if you're wondering why dishes haven't been done, how many people do you one? How many people live in this apartment? Three? Now, one, I don't want to excuse because there is no excuse for you. But his reasoning is he doesn't cook here. He doesn't use our food. He eats out or he goes and gets pizzas and stuff. he does not treat this household as his household. He kind of treats it as he's a household of one. In my own way, I kind of think of this as a household of me, even though I am taking care of my mother. And let's face it, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here, and she is keeping a roof over my head. And I do realize that. But anyhow, when you want to take a shower and rinse your hair out, because hello, when you have dye in, you have to do that. And guess what? Sometimes you can't get in there. So you want to know what I had to fucking do? I had to turn the faucet on, and I had to use the sprayer. And that's what I had to do. And so the water, half of it did not necessarily go in the sink. It went down on the floor. See where we're getting? And this is old rotten floorboards. You want to see where the water ended up going to? See where my foot is? That's rotten wood. Purple water soaked in there. I'm surprised. I'm afraid one of these days, hopefully after we have finally moved out of here, something's gonna fall through there. Hopefully there won't be any nice innocent people down below, because I'm not about hurting innocent people. But I had to fucking rinse out my hair standing up. Oh, and I was naked as a jaybird too, by the way, wearing socks and shoes, and my socks got soaked with purple. As a matter of fact, you want to laugh. I know some of you should watch my show because you want to laugh. Well, this is what the socks ended up looking like afterwards, because the purple. So yeah, that's how I had to rinse out my hair. And then I felt like some of it was still crunchy. So when the snow turned to rain in the wee hours, I walked around wearing that trench coat, that leather trench coat that I did for my turnaround, right? And so I used the rain to finish rinsing out the dye in my hair. Is that kind of world fucked up bullshit or what? So yeah, I know we all have it hard. And I know sometimes when I'm really, I remind myself that people have it hard all over. But I'm just saying, if anybody likes to sneak any comments in some of my old videos targeting me, passing judgment on why I didn't do this and why I didn't do that, I go out of my way to look fashionable, take care of myself. I spend time on myself, not nearly the money people think I am. I spend time on myself. I use the schooling that I did when I was younger. I learned how to do this stuff. I take care of myself. I do it as cheaply as possible, and I shouldn't have to apologize for that. I do not take from my responsibilities in my indulgences for myself. I don't have the resources some people seem to think I have. So I am not going to have people who hardly know me at all, who may have known me on the periphery a few decades ago when everybody was snorting rails up their noses. And I don't know, I'm not sure exactly who that person was that was saying those things. But, for somebody to go and say something like, I'm collecting some kind of a government check, when that's news to me. My father, when he was alive, there was things. He was a very proud American veteran, and he would not have wanted me or any of his children to collect welfare. He would not want any of his children to be eating food from social service agencies or getting meals from food banks or anything. And when I was living homeless in California, damn right I ate at soup kitchens. Damn right I went to places where the food was free. Excuse me, when you don't have money, you only have a little bit of money, what are you going to do? Are you going to be an idiot or are you going to be smart? And I remember when the only time I ever collected food stamps in my life was San Francisco, and they actually had fake currencies and stuff. And you couldn't buy things like hair dye for food stamps. So we had to get 25-cent potato chips back when a potato chip bag for 25 cents was actually big like this. Now I'll set you back $1.25 or something because of the chip sizes. The bags are getting smaller and the prices going through the roof. So you break in all these dollar food stamps with 25-cent chip bags, and usually food doesn't have taxes, right? So you're getting 3/4, and you get a whole bunch of quarters that way, and that's how you come up with money for fucking hair dye in the city of San Francisco in the 90s, when you're trying to get your needs without having to use money, because I wasn't out there panhandling like so many of my brothers and sisters was doing. That's one thing I could never do. Actually, there's two things I can never do: whoring and panhandling. If anybody tries to tell you I did either one, they're a lying sack of horsemeat. So yeah, somebody is going to come out and use my platform. My channel is finally growing after over 12 years. Do you know how long and hard I've struggled starting this channel from the beginning, when I didn't know anything about what the focus was going to be, except it was going to be a way for me to express myself. That's all I wanted for this channel, because I didn't know what this channel was going to be. I knew that I missed Los Angeles. I knew that I missed having a voice, that I was homesick, that I wanted to express myself. I wanted to maybe create, find tribe, look for the family, the created family that so many of us want. Isn't that what so many of us want? Especially if our families are dying out, or maybe we don't have much of a family and we want human communication. And I'm sure there's people that are still kind of emotionally damaged from the trauma of the lockdowns, from the pandemic. I know that even though in many ways my life didn't change all that much, because I was already doing a lot of work from home stuff, because I had a YouTube channel, and because with a computer you can do things like taking surveys for money, or you can have a box, kind of like a cable modem, that's attached to your modem, and it sniffs some of the information from your uh, cyber activities, and you get a little pittance for that. And by pittance, I mean $5 a month. If anybody's gonna pass judgment on somebody for finding a way to earn $5 a month, well, gee, sue me. So yeah, it hurts when me, for being a person that doesn't give a damn really what people say about me. But if somebody's going to go and claim that I was had an extra $1,200 that I could have used to take care of those animals. First of all, even if a person did have an extra $1,200, maybe that is what is needed to go to paying the rent. Yeah, I don't even know how much the utility bills are here. It's ridiculous. The cable and the heat. Oh yeah, on days like today, everybody's got their heat cranked up. You know, and then the people, if you're lucky and you have your heat, your rent, including your utilities, it's not including our utilities. Everything is separate. And I find out our neighbor behind us, none of them have cable. They don't know all this advanced weather stuff. Like, did you find out from the Weather Channel and stuff? I see things I take for granted, that as much as I bellyache and bitch and moan about things, I can turn on the Weather Channel and I can find out the weather. So, and yes, I know I could go online and find things, but sometimes it's just more convenient to use that screen for that. And speaking of screens, I'm going to take a look at the screen here. Okay, decent guy says, do you have Carolina barbecue chips in Jersey? I don't know that I've ever seen Carolina brand, but Carolina is a brand of rice. I know that. I love barbecue potato chips. Oh my God. I've never met a barbecue chips I don't love. As long as you don't throw cheese in or sour cream. I don't do cheese. I hate cheese. Oh my God. I think cheese is just the stinkiest, worst, yucky thing. I don't do cheese. But barbecue chips, oh, love them. Hers, I love. Utz, I love. There is a brand called Martin's that has, especially the 99-cent potato chips, but they are sold in some of these mom and pop stores on some of the corners around here, that generally the prices are so ridiculous. They call them convenience. And first of all, the way to make something truly convenient would be to have it 24 hours a day, like 7-Elevens. I love 7-Elevens for their being open 24 hours. And that's a place where, when we used to be flush enough that we would go once a week to get salty snacks, whether the dollar store or up at 7-Eleven. Now, some people go to a store called Wawa, but we don't have a Wawa local. You got to go clear down to Ventnor. And the thing with Wawas, they have use restrictions with Wawas, that say a building is a Wawa and say they close, the next people to buy it out, they have these laws that they cannot sell the competing merchandise of the kind of store that just left. And since Wawas are like 7-Elevens, they sell all kinds of convenience foods, hot and cold foods, packaged foods, um, snacks, meals, all kinds of things. So can you imagine having a business that doesn't sell any of the things that that previous business had? I don't think that it's right that there's a possibility that a business can be sold and then whatever else is on that property can't be a convenient kind of business. That is just, that's a strange concept. I never even heard of such a thing till I came back to New Jersey from California. So another way that they have something like that going on is with some of the casinos or buildings that used to be casinos. For instance, the Showboat was a hotel casino here in town, and then it became a non-casino hotel. And for a while there, they were considering turning it into a combination of condominiums and also housing for Stockton University. But then they decided that maybe allowing it to be housing for college students was not such a smart idea, since so many college students are underage. And I could just see people taking people on dates, and you have all these underage people on the casino floor, and nobody wants that, except maybe the underage people. But no. And you know what? I don't think that's good either, because people start drinking and gambling soon enough. And especially the drinking is so dangerous. And the gambling, on one hand, yes, that's a big industry that keeps tourism coming to cities like this. And yes, we are dependent on tourism dollars. And some people can occasionally gamble here and there, and it doesn't harm them and their family. But there's a hell of a lot of other people that they gamble too much, they get drunk, they throw caution to the wind, and they are very irresponsible with their money, and it can actually harm families, and it can cause people to neglect paying their bills and having nutritious food for their families because they're gambling all the time. And I see that in town all the time. I see this with homeless people who, believe it or not, they can afford a gambling addiction, and some of them are veterans and they get a pension from the VA, or I don't know how that runs. And so they're getting money from the government. They never get off the street, but they will get maybe one or two comp rooms from the casino a month, and they satisfy both their drinking addiction and their gambling addiction, because when the waitress comes around, she's giving you cocktails and you're sitting your ass in front of a slot machine. So they're spending money, and a lot of these people end up sleeping in buses. For a couple of hours, you can get from Atlantic City to Lakewood, and then from Lakewood to New York City, Port Authority, then get back on the bus. And for a couple of hours where you're curled up in an uncomfortable position, and a lot of these are senior citizens, and they're doing this to get out of the cold, but you're getting broken sleep, uncomfortable, hurting your back. So many of our elderly homeless people are doing this. And it could be argued that if not for the casino industry, they wouldn't be in that predicament. But I'll tell you something about people with gambling problems. If they are hooked on gambling, if you got that gambling bug, you gamble on anything. The other person I live with who messes up the bathroom all the time, when the casinos were closed during the pandemic, he had stacks of lottery tickets up to here. There's so many ways to gamble. And now with the offshore gambling and sports book, and that can be kind of exciting, but it's really dangerous, because if you win and you have a positive experience with it, then you might get to thinking that might be a viable investment opportunity. And that is so dangerous, because even I, who have experienced walking away from chemical drugs like cocaine, speed, and all that, I walked away from. And then I walked away from alcohol, just cold turkey walked away. And I'm not saying this to brag, I'm just saying that's how I did it. My mom walked away from tobacco smoking when I was sick. She cold turkeyed it. Back in those days, they didn't have patches and pills and all this stuff. I'm losing my voice. I don't know why. Oh, I need to get some weed, man. There's no fucking weed. No, actually, that's not true. There is weed. I just don't happen to have any. There's people selling. Oh, people were so ridiculous yesterday. About 2 hours after I finished my last live stream, there was two people who got into a real loud fight downstairs. One was, I don't know if he was a drug dealer or what, but he has his girlfriend, and she was so mad at him, like acting like he double crossed her over drugs or something. And they were screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, chasing, yelling at each other up and down, up this way, down that way, went around the block, back and forth. And now, because of the code blue thing, they some of these social service agencies around here have been repurposing used school buses, used jitneys, and they've been letting homeless people hang out in them to get out of the hole. And the thing is, they don't have extra insulation; they're just normal vehicles. And now I have been, because I'm interested in getting a school and having, first of all, so that I can avoid all the ridiculous rents that I'm convinced will have me on the street if anything happens to my mother, because there's no way I can afford to pay rents, because I don't have these checks that so many people talk about. Because I don't qualify for it, bottom line. But you need to add uh, insulation to the roofs and maybe the sides of these vehicles to make them really, really warm. And yet they're stashing them full of these people who unfortunately are opening the windows above, sometimes breaking glass, passing things back and forth like drugs and money, and making all kinds of racket. And of course, it's parked right underneath my bedroom window. So there's all this activity. So you wonder why I have to run a fan, if you hear that going on here, just to blot out the sounds of the urban ambiance. Yeah. Oh crap, I just threw this on the floor, which means I have to wash it. Anything that falls on this filthy, dirty floor. Stanley Steamer would, I wonder if they can really get the germs off a carpet, if that's even possible. I mean, considering we're walking around, most people walk around with shoes, and the shoes have E. coli and stuff on the ground. So you're going to walk around, right? And I think they're all dirty anyway, but especially if you have animals. When I first got Cassie, the garden cat, I got her a little litter box, and I actually set it here in my room. And a cat's scratch, the litter goes all over. So you got E. coli and carpet right there. And both of them got sick and died. She was found dead on my floor. And Cabby Boy got sick from both his ends. And yes, I mean, I think it is. So this floor, probably the carpet needs to be just pulled up and napalmed. I'll put this over where my laundry goes, because I don't want to risk touching this to my face since it's been on the ground. Oh man. He says hello. Oh, I'd like to give my official congratulations to Vivek Ramaswamy for having run a very good campaign. He bowed out yesterday, and he said he encouraged all his fans and supporters to throw their hat to Donald. If Donald Trump had never existed, and he was a little bit older, I could definitely see myself voting for Vivek. But you know what? He's got a bright future. And there's a guy, he's a son of Indian immigrants, came to this country, made his fortune in the biotech world, is what I understand of him. He's a married man. Uh, he's what, 38 years old, 39 years old? So he's a youngin'. According to the United States Constitution, you have to be at least 35 to be president. But that's still too young. You want somebody that's been around. You want somebody that has the experience, the life experience, and yet doesn't have neurological and brain problems. such as we are noticing by the current holder of the Oval Office. Hey, I'm not dissing Biden too much. You think I don't go in the next room sometime, and when I'm in there, forget what I went in there for? That happens. I go in the refrigerator and I forget what it is I want. Because sometimes you go in and I'm thinking of so many things. I'm always doing show prep. I'm thinking about my YouTube channel. I'm thinking about, I'm always packing. The front room that used to be my grow room has all these plastic bags full of clothes. I have boxes packed up of clothes. I have shoes packed up. I have been packing things for probably the last 10 years. Every time, it used to be every time I would get into a big fight with somebody here, I'd say, that's it. And you start packing things, and then, okay, I'm packing my things, but where the hell am I going to go? Who the hell is going to have a vehicle big enough to get all my shit out of here? So you got to think. I've had people on different social media when I bellyache, and we all need to vent. I mean, it doesn't mean everybody wants to hear it. It's important to get things off your chest. And if you don't have a whole lot of local confidants that you could just feel comfortable bending their ear, maybe you don't want to waste somebody's time because everybody's going through something. You just don't want to dump on people. And you sure don't want to pay somebody to listen to your issues, which is what I guess therapy is. And again, you're paying them. Why should you pay somebody when your friend should do it for free, right? But you don't want to dump on people, especially if they're going through stuff too. And so many of my friends now, they got through their own health issues, or maybe they have significant others who have health issues. Somebody I consider my BFF, she's married to a man who has Parkinson's disease now. That's a hell of a thing. So I haven't talked to her in months because I keep on thinking every time I want to bellyache about something or run something by her, I'm thinking what she's going through. You know, you can't one up something like Parkinson's. Decent guy. Cruz did the same after Don called. Yeah, and then Donald Trump called him Lion Ted. And I still look at some of these politicians and I remember the old nicknames that were given them, the unflattering nicknames. I'm thinking I would never want Trump to be mad at me. I hate to think of nicknames I'd get, you know. So, yeah, some people, you don't want to work for them so that things can never be acrimonious, you know, because some people are just real hardcore alpha. And it's not a bad thing. They're the kind of people you probably want in government. Some people are better at friendships. Some people are better at different things, but when you want somebody to be a world leader on this stage, dealing with some unpredictable world leaders who, frankly, might not be so stable, like Kim Jong Un, you don't want to piss that guy off. And Putin, you know, he could send people clear any country in the world and poison your ass if you piss him off. Didn't he have his brother killed? So, yeah, you need a world leader who these loose cannons on the world are going to think, you know what, I'm going to think twice before filling blanks. I really believe if Trump was in office now, you wouldn't have the invasion of Ukraine by Putin. You wouldn't be having the saber rattling going on where China's talking about Taiwan. Oh, why did Biden say something about, I don't want to paraphrase wrong, but something like, he does not support a free Taiwan or something like this. What the hell? The Taiwan people voted themselves for independence, for sovereign, I forget what the word, but they don't want to be under the thumb of China. There's a little country that China for years has been threatening to annex any violent way necessary. The people want their freedom. In China, when the COVID was first hitting, and they were literally chaining people, telling people they couldn't leave their buildings, and people were getting so depressed. They were telling people for a while to cats alive because they thought that COVID spread through companion animals, which is not true. I got to be careful things I say here because YouTube is taking down so many of my live streams because they accuse me of spreading disinformation and all that shit. And so I'm going to be day or two, I'm going to be downloading this back because when you do a live stream, you do not have a copy of what you created by the very nature of how you created it. It's up in the cloud. You don't have a copy of it. So if YouTube decides to put the hammer down, because YouTube cannot, I'm telling you, as a YouTuber, you want to listen, you want to trust me for having the fact that I've been on YouTube for about 12 and a quarter years. That's no small feat. Okay. I've been on YouTube long enough to know YouTube is powerful. It's owned by Google. It can't be trusted. Anytime YouTube could take down any one of us. Some of the people who watch me sometimes who do a lot of live streams, YouTube has taken down so many of his old live streams. There are people that I met when I was going to Washington, D.C. a lot, fellow political YouTubers. Their channels were taken down. They do not exist anymore. They were doing news commentary and things that were really exciting stuff. When I was doing news commentary, which is one of my favorite things to do, but I'm afraid to do it now, I was emulating the news anchors you see on TV. And I would, except of course, dress, the way I dress and stuff. And for emulating the people who are respected, paid well, and are on national television. So they're not saying cuss words and stuff like me and whatever. And yet they have the positions they have. And when I was trying to do the same exact thing, YouTube was putting the hammer down on me. So you got to be so careful what you say. My sinuses are so bad now. Excuse me, I got blown my nose. Oh God, hard to breathe. Oh man. You guys want to laugh? I still haven't eaten my butternut squash yet from my garden. Got this and this here. All I need to do is cut them sideways, scoop out the seeds, save them for planting. You could also bake them, but I want to save some for planting. Cut them, put butter in them, and bake them. And I don't want to use my gas oven because right now it's a big nest for hundreds of mice. And the last thing I want to do is warm up their cockles. Get my drift. I don't do animal torture. I'm a meat eater, yes, and I know where meat comes from. The meat does not come from the store. Somebody had to slaughter it. I know that. But you know what? There's such a thing as doing things humanely. You can chop their head off, shoot them in the head. Don't need to do this torture shit. And again, if I know that I got mice in the oven, I can't use that oven. But my mother has this electric oven that actually is big enough to hold a turkey that's not too big. So I can, or else, you know what? You can use, if it's not too big, you can use a toaster oven. The only thing is because it has heat element here, heat elements here, you can't have things too high so the top doesn't burn. But yeah, these would be real good. See how sunny it is out. Oh, it's sunny, all right. But the those puddles have not melted. Matter of fact, according to my computer, it's back down to 17 degrees out there. You don't want to be out there without your head covered, your hands covered, and it's cold all over. They say even down in Florida, it went down to 40. I don't know. I watched uh, Dumpstar. Hey, you guys, anybody watch? Look at the names in the chat room. There's a guy. I'm proud to call him friend. His channel is called Dumpstar. He is doing something that I would like to be doing right now. He's on the road. He's well. Okay, let me preface this with sometimes he's in uncomfortable situations because he's outside freezing his ass off. On times like that, no, I don't necessarily want to be where he is because I'll be honest with you. I like the fact that I'm in a room right now with a radiator behind where the computer is. I'm not freezing my ass off. I'm able to wear what I want to wear. My ass is here. Okay. I don't want to be outside right now. But Dumpstar, he has a channel, and it seems to me that most of his videos is live. And I don't nearly get enough time to watch other people's content because when I thought I was full time when I was doing Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But I'm doing it daily now. I started doing it daily a little bit just around the Christmas holidays. I thought, maybe people would like that because it's the holidays. People like to watch things. Maybe they're not working as much. They have more time to watch content. Then I'm thinking maybe if I do more, maybe my channel will get a boost. Maybe I'll get some more views and subs and stuff. And I'm doing it daily and I'm doing it daily and I'm doing it daily. Then all of a sudden, a couple of videos seem to be doing better than usual. And I'm thinking, why am I getting so many views on a silly little video where I'm talking about trying to find something fun to do for New Year's Eve? I mean, I know that videos like that are evergreen content because they talk about things that happen every year, like holidays and stuff. But still, I am always surprised at the things that do really well. If it's an instructional video like how to take out a nose ring, titty ring, whatever, okay, those are instructional videos. I could see them doing well. But like for instance, when the Hare Krishnas came into town and I got to film all the beautiful Indian clothes and the different practices and things, which I kind of can get behind because I'm a fan of the food and I think Indian temples are beautiful. And even though I appreciate it and I participate it with the attitude of a metaphysical person, not a religious person, I utilize that tech as another tool in my practice of the great work. If you understand that, you understand. If you don't, that's okay too. Uh, I have different interests that I express on this channel, and therefore, different people watch me for all sorts of different reasons. There's people that watch me in the beginning that would love nothing more than for me to start doing my makeup tutorials again. And I probably will do a few more just because I don't want people to think I've forgotten them, and I don't want people to think I forgot where I came from. On the same token, I'm sure I also know that there are some people that totally is a disposable, unrelatable thing. And there are some people that think a shopping haul video is irresponsible in today's climate where the inflation's ridiculous and the sticker shock just makes you faint when you go into the store and think, my God, things are ridiculous. How the hell can you afford any of this shit? Yeah. YouTube cannot be trusted. Ah. Oh, that's clever. Decent Guy says Teddy Roosevelt was an alpha, but he would never call another man's wife a dog. You're Lordy Gordy. Hey. Utz. Yes. Okay, hair dye. Hair dye is a need, not a want. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm gonna read that again. Um oh, all right. You know what? Let me try taking this fan off. I really don't like yelling, but you never know when you're going to start hooting and hollering and going crazy. Um, all right. The hair dye is a need, not a want. Oh, okay. I did read you correctly. I was almost misread it, and I was going to say that for a person like myself, who, and I'm not trying to paint myself out that I think I'm special or anything, but I do feel that I'm different. And I have different needs than most people. Like, for instance, there's some people that are good musicians and they have bands, and they say that they want to let the music be a lot more important than the image. And so as a result, there are some bands that have no image at all. They look like they could have just gotten off of work at a construction site or whatever, and they're wearing maybe plaid shirts and khaki pants, and they got short hair, and they're not. You would never think that they were musicians. And then there are people who wear spandex and they wear leather and studs, and the guys grow their hair out long and they wear real expressive artistic stuff. Or people like Lil Nas X. Can we talk about Lil Nas X? Now, I'm not a hip hop aficionado, okay? I don't like, with very few exceptions, I don't like hip hop music. But there are occasionally things that I found I do like. Like Ludacris has something out now that apparently some of it was in a commercial. And sometimes that's how I discover new music, when I'm actively trying to avoid current music because I have music in my own head that I don't want to get inspired by current things, when I am drawing from the 70s and 80s, and the kind of music that I want to put out wants to be solid rock music that may be controlled by my musical ability to play it. And I definitely have not learned the fretboard enough to evolve into being a shredder like the people that have been playing for years and years and years and are disciplined and stuff. I mean, I hardly pick up my instruments now. Part of it is because I pick it up to make money, and outside, all the beggars are the ones making the money now. And plus, outside, when it's temperatures like this, I would imagine it would make the strings break even quicker because, 17 degrees, I imagine it's not good for guitar strings. Any of you guys that play better than me, I'm sure you could tell me that I'm right about that. But and I'm not going to go stand around watching other people make money while I'm thinking I want to be making money myself. Even though half of them, they drink it all away anyway. You know, I try not to waste you guys' time blowing a bunch of smoke up your ass, unless it's weed smoke. And in that case, up your ass ain't where it's going to go. And I don't deal with butts anyway. And don't I'm a no butt person. All right. So, and I'm not going to judge if you live and think differently, but I'm just saying where my head's at. But yeah, my sinuses are going. I probably need some vitamin C. I think I found something that's been keeping the leg cramps away. Chocolate. Because, but again, I don't want to get to the point where I can't fit into my clothes. I had more of a six pack when I was working out all the time, and I see this. I say, you know what? I need to be harder here. I need to build up some more of my lean muscle mass. Not the skinny. I love the skinny model arms and stuff. I don't want pointy, thick. I want to be nice and small. When you're short, I think you need to be in, more in proportion. And as far as the superficialities, I've always loved that. Image has always been very important to me. When I went to beauty school, I'm convinced the main reason why I went to beauty school was not so much that I wanted little old ladies to hire me to do whatever they wanted. Obviously, you're limited by what the clients want you to do. But I wanted to learn the techniques so that I could do all this stuff for myself, so that when I was out playing rock star or making my dreams come true, I wouldn't have to pay somebody half my age or whatever to do for me. There's so many people that you see that you're used to seeing them wearing makeup and stuff. Could they on themselves? Probably not. So when you see them out and about, they look different because they can't replicate their own image. And I think that's kind of fucked up. So, the person that you see, um, the, the persons that, okay, I was just distracted by a pop up message that I realized if I click that, I might screw this up, and I don't want to do that. But no, I think that if you have something like an image that's important to you, the more of it you can control yourself, the better you're at. You're not vulnerable to and dependent on other people. Oh, I can't do a smoky eye. I never learned how to do it. I have to pay somebody that I have to have on speed dial. So therefore, I don't look like myself unless this person makes me look like the me that you think I am. What kind of logic is that? You know what? They're hooting hard. I got to turn this fan back. See what I mean? This is why I like to film outside. But when it's windy, that fucks up your audio too. I need to see about getting wireless lavalier mics. The mics I have, they only have 6-foot cords. So can you imagine trying to do a turnaround with that? And that's not going to work. You can't. You got to be cordless for that. That's why you want all these ports on a computer so that. And I think you use Bluetooth to do that. But yeah, got the skills and the training so I can be in total control of my image. I care about an image. So yes, I have to have a budget for my hair dye and my makeup and stuff. But the great thing about stuff like makeup and hair dye and stuff, for the most part, there's not too much of a shelf life. Like, okay, peroxide probably lose its bubbles in 6 or 7 months. So I have to always have fresh peroxide for when my roots go out. Okay. So, but other than that, hair dye can last years. I get that. I get a supply and I get it as cheaply as possible. You know, I do. And as far as the things like the makeup goes, these things literally last years. These beautiful palettes. And I use Trendy in Tokyo is what I got on my eyes right now. And these are from B&H Cosmetics. If any of my makeup lovers happen to be watching me. And this palette is also from B&H Cosmetics. This is called Weekend Mimosa. It's called, and it's supposed to refer to the cocktail, which that kind of bums me out a little bit because anything involving drinking makes me feel sad because I don't do that anymore. And if you actually look at the cover here, it shows all these cocktail glasses, and that's the one thing I don't like about this palette. When I think of mimosa, I think of the actual tree that has these interesting seed pods, like flat squashed beans, and has these fuzzy red flowers that look really trippy. Okay, decent guy says another alpha to run this country. Andrew Jackson got into over 100 duels in his life. Wow. Many defending the honor of his wife, Rachel, who had been divorced before meeting Jackson. So, these guy says basically the opposite of Donnie. Yeah, Donnie, I know you don't mean Donnie Osmond, who I heard is a real nice guy. But when I was a little 11-year-old little girl, I wanted to marry Alan Osmond. He's the Osmond brother that looks least Osmond like of all of them because he got multiple sclerosis. Telling you, some people when they get older, they get these real catastrophic health issues. And so my lot in life is leg cramps and arthritis. But no, let's keep it youthful, shall we? Because other people will bullshit you. And I may have to bullshit you sometimes, but only to save my ass. But yeah, I like doing this daily schedule. I need to get calendars though. I don't have a calendar, and I miss having. I had a big desktop blotter calendar. Do you remember them? They're like about this big, and I love them because each day has a square like this size. And when you're a YouTuber, and say you batch filmed 3 videos, so you have space. I filmed 3 times, and then I posted, and you have all of this organization space. I love them, and I have this book now. I really love all my calendars. You forget at the end of the year, where's your next calendar? Well, somebody had given me this. And what I love about it is that it just has all this. It has the months tabbed on it. Didn't I show you yesterday? It has full months on it also. Plus it has, the individual days on it. I could keep track of my tips when I was out playing guitar. It has a section for notes. It has a contact section, your address book. It has a section for passwords. It has even conversion table, the cooking tables, the measurements, all that stuff. The chart for tipping, gratuities, all that bullshit. So, but yeah, this is all used up. And so as a result, I'm flying blind. I didn't patronize because I am, I guess, poor white trash. I didn't patronize these businesses in December or go to these churches or all these ways that you get the free calendars at the end of the year. And I did make my end of the year donation to Alley Cat Allies. I love that organization so much. If you guys love cats, I will recommend them. I recommended them before. Alley Cat Allies. They really do help cats, and less than 5% of money donated to them goes to administrative things. They have charity rating websites that talk about how efficient they are with the donations, and they are win gold stars on that. And not like some organizations like ASPCA, where the head CEO makes $1 million or whatever. Even some organizations that people know and love, like the Salvation Army, yes, donations of food and stuff go to food banks and helps a lot of hungry people. How many people have ever eaten at Salvation Army? I know I have, and I'm not going to be, I'm not ashamed of that. They got volunteers there that really help people, really care about people. Salvation Army is kind of like the Red Cross. They'll go into disaster areas and they will have clean clothes and food for people and blankets to keep people warm. They help a lot of my homeless brothers and sisters. They have facilities to help people wash their clothes, even though I heard that their washers and dryers are on fritz now. And I think there might be something going on with the cook in town that I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on with the inner workings of the local thing because I'm not privy to all the stuff that's going on. But they're doing the best they can, helping out a lot of people. So if you're talking about good organizations, they are a good organization. But no, Alley Cat Allies, they spay and neuter the boardwalk cats. We have the special Atlantic City Boardwalk Cat Project. See the cats with the one ear cut a little bit? They give them veterinary care. They spay and neuter them so they can't have babies. They feed, they have feeders. They have these cute little igloos that are called dogloos, by the way. And they have shelters for the cats. Oh, my sinus is fucked up, man. Hold on a second. I gotta get a tissue. You don't deserve it. Sorry about that, guys. My sinuses. See, it's a family thing. My sinuses are just so fucked up. Uh, duels. I never understood. That just seems so barbaric. But there's a lot of guys that are just real macho and manly. Now, I guess the common phrase would be toxic masculinity. But you need masculinity for a lot of things. If you're going to be fighting our wars, you want that masculinity. If you are going to have some asshole uh, purse snatcher run down the street, take somebody's bag, you're going to want some good, strong guy that sees something bad happen that goes, chases that son of a bitch down and gets the lady your purse back. You want somebody to defend children and animals from people that are harming them. And so, yes, you want strong people who are not afraid to take initiative to right wrongs. But now we're living in a society that sometimes punishes the good guy who stops the bad guy from doing things, and things are all fucked up. So it's all on how you look at it. Oh, you guys, it's hard for me to breathe. Oh, I used to take that. Sudafed pills that they had to remake how they make them because people were using them to make amphetamines, so they changed the formula. And then after I don't know how many years, they found out that that new formula is not effective at all. So they have a class action lawsuit going on, and you can get in on it. You can get a little money from it, but the only thing is, if you don't have a proof of purchase for those pills, and the thing is, for all the years that my family and I use Sudafed and the different, like there's a generic kind, obviously, was a lot cheaper, and we're always going to get generics. You get them at the 99-cent store, but they're harder to find. And now there's this other kind of pill that helps the sinuses. That's Chinese herbal medicine. I believe they're called Po Chai pills or Po Kai. I don't know, but I thought I had them up here, and now I don't. Oh, I must have gotten rid of them all. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe this is it here. Let me see. Peking, Wang, Qian, Beijing, Tong, Tang. Um, I had some other boxes of things. I think I donated them back to where everybody drops off things. Improved Chinese drug. These are all herbal things. Some of this stuff is in Chinese, and some of this stuff is the specific epithets, which are the Latin names of plants. And some of these I do recognize. Herba mente, gee, I wonder what that is. Camphor, gardenia. Um, oh, it says this is for headache, vertigo, sore throat, gastric fever, mouth pimples, gum bleeding, acute ophthalmia, acute dysphagia, mumps, earache, toothache, children's fever, anorexia, and nausea. That's what these are for. I don't have any of these things. I definitely don't want to take anything for anorexia because I might gain weight. I don't want that. But okay, bottom line, it's not going to help with my sinuses. And that's really what I could use right now. It's something to help with my sinus. Yeah. And I guess I don't have anything to help with my sinuses. So that's fucked up. So, but I'm going to pour myself another cup of coffee or tea, rather. But no, I don't have to. I have a little bit left. Oh, you want to see some of the? No, I don't want to take this outside because I don't think the cold would be very good for the electronics. You prefer to a Lee to a Grant any day. Well, I really hate. There's a lot of things lately that my country's been doing lately, taking down of statues and trying to rewrite history. That is so wrong. I didn't think it was right when NASCAR got rid of the uh, uh, Confederate flag either. That to me is such an important part of Southern history and of NASCAR. And it doesn't mean that the people that watch the race cars want to bring back slavery. It doesn't mean it at all. Just because some people have a love of the Confederate flag, that's not what this means. There is such a thing as having a Southern heritage. And I don't think a whole section of our country should be damned for their culture and for their heritage. If we're supposed to embrace the heritage of all these cultures that come into our country and make it this big melting pot, which so many people fail to assimilate. And so that's what causes countries to have problems. People don't get along because they don't assimilate into certain commonalities and find reasons why they have to cooperate. And the thing is, we can cooperate. We've proven that we Who among us doesn't have groups of friends and we might be different? We find common ground. Like for many of us, we like to smoke weed. I have friends I smoke weed with. Most of them don't look like me. Lots of them are black. Lots of them are Spanish. Some people from all over the world. We smoke weed. That's like one thing that we have in common. But that's a thing. When you smoke weed, you don't want to fuck anybody up. You just want to, I'll have some more potato chips. I'll give you a hug. Sure, I can help you find fill in the blanks. People aren't fighting, you know. So I would have no problem with, and I would welcome having a Confederate flag and a Gadsden flag, which is the Don't Tread on Me flag with the snake, and the Betsy Ross flag. So many people, and they tend to be liberals, they often tend to be Democrats, which is not where I am, but they get real visceral, triggered reactions to certain things. And they ascribe intent where it may not be, and things, it's like they're symbols to them. So if somebody wears this hat, people freak out and they lose their minds. Or they figure, well, okay, let me ask this person a couple questions to find out where their head's at on certain issues, I guess to see if they're cool enough to be friends with them or not. And the thing is, I have, and I resent this very much, I have had to tone down some political things on this channel just to not get kicked off it. And I really resent myself because the people that watch me, many of them are the same people that actually agree with me on a lot of these issues. And it's almost like wink, wink, nod, nod. I shouldn't have to. And this is why certain people on other sides of the fence accuse people of the dog whistle, because people are running scared. They can't speak freely without people automatically calling them names like, oh, you're a racist, you're a xenophobe, you're a homophobe, you are a hater. And no, but I realize that I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm getting confusing you guys stuff. I started to mention Lil Nas X. He is a black hip hop artist and he's also gay. And apparently he's got a whole lot of born again Christians butthurt over. He has a video called J Christ. Now, how I learned about Lil Nas X is through, I used to get a bunch of fashion magazines, and I love looking at fashion. Uh, I love looking at things that I would probably never spend money on unless somebody donates it to the social service agency and they drop off big piles of clothes somewhere that yours truly can dig through. If that's the case, sure, I'll wear whatever if it actually fits me. If it's in a clothing bag and somebody donated, I would love to have something new to wear on my channel or maybe go out dancing or something. Why lie? And most people don't wear these sizes anyway. They wear the big sizes. So the big clothes for them, a little clothes for, you know. But so anyway, I saw what this guy, Lil Nas X, wore at the Met Ball, the gala. And I was blown away by the costumes, the outfits this guy was wearing. And I saw he has these cowboy hats and matching chaps and outfits all in these different bright colors. And he looked amazing. And I started seeing all these outfits this guy was wearing. I'm thinking, my God, if I had a black man style icon that kind of was somebody over my out for my own heart, this guy, his he is an artist. His outfits are just amazing. And then when he did some articles where he was interviewed about how he was traumatized by the Christian church growing up, that they sent all these messages to him that he was going to hell and he was no good and he wasn't worthy, and that religion can do so much harm to people. And so now that he is creating art that is very polarizing and deeply offends the religious sensibilities of the people to whom that are offended, because he's basically saying that this church that growing up hurt me so much and I am rebelling against it and I am doing these things, creating these artwork forms that are basically heretical works. It's a good thing he didn't exist in the 1600s. He'd be tied to a tree just like I would be, and somebody'd strike a match. You get my drift. So he's very lucky, as am I, as are all the witches, warlocks, metaphysical practitioners, whatever labels you guys take for yourself. So many of us would not be safe if we lived in a different point in time. Think about it. Think of how lucky we are that we can walk around and largely hate crimes, don't have to worry about the government or major powerful religions taking us off the street and saying, look, you look a funny way. You're tempting people with sin, or you are espousing views that the state doesn't agree with. We are largely free, largely, not 100%. I can't say all the things I want to you guys on YouTube because they will, and especially live streams, they love to take them down. Or they'll wait for like 4 or 5 or 6 years and they'll find something that they think you said something, one sentence that they don't like. So yeah, it could be something that I did yesterday, it could be something I did 5, 6 years ago, it could be something I said 12 years ago. YouTube can't be trusted. Cannot be trusted. Okay, Decent Guy says, what you meant by Lee, Grant was, despite his lack of traditional manliness, he was 5-10 times the military commander that Grant was. It's true. Dumpstar, I'm glad that you're watching me. I love watching you do the split screen with that guy in Michigan yesterday. I'm still not sure that a guy in Michigan is not allowed to smoke indoors, or if say he had a stash. I mean, he could like have it hidden in his pants pocket, and then when he wanted to inhale, then he could go outside and stuff. There are some places that have Section 8 housing that they were real strict about. I see what I don't understand with all the very dangerous things like the heroin and the crack and all that stuff that doesn't have a smell to it. And yet some poor guy smoking a joint, and oh, you're going to get the dogs in to bite his ass and take his drugs and evict him. That's so fucked up. I'm hoping that as more and more states become legal, and now see how they can't, on the state it's legal, then they just test you for weed. And that was one thing I was always worried about. I would never, there's so many normal jobs. I don't want too much in the way of normal jobs anyway, because I'm showbiz. Okay, there's things that I would prefer to do. If I'm going to exchange my time for money, I want to do what I love. I say, do what you love. You never have to work a day in your life. It's not that I don't want to work. It's that I don't want to waste the time that I know I have this one life. I know I have. I don't want to waste it having a life that sucks. That's bottom line. I don't want to waste my life having a life that sucks. I value my time because I love myself. When I lived in LA, I chose money-making things that were fun for me. Being a dancer. What's more fun than being a dancer? Being a model. Having people think that you're attractive enough that you could just put on different clothes and they like your face and they like your body. Who doesn't like to hear that people think that their face is nice and their body's nice? That's a deeply flattering thing. When you get a random compliment from a stranger on the street, especially if they word it in a way so that it's not journey or something. It's one thing when a guy says, "Oh, sexy," and that's not usually women's or men's, for that matter, most favorite compliment. But if you word it in a classy way, like, "I really like those colors," or "I like that pattern," or there's ways to say things without acting like you're mentally undressing the person. Just be polite and not make a person feel uncomfortable. A little bit of objectification, I don't think, is a bad thing. It's like, oh, hey, objectified me all the way to the bank. People who choose a showbiz career, it's what they love. They love image and they love art and they love music and dance and aesthetics and all those things. And when I was in California, where it was nice and warm out, and there are all these opportunities there, and I miss it so much. I really do. And they let you in California in a way that they just don't in New York City. Because New York City is so expensive, and the entry way to get into New York is just too much. It's too much. Yeah. Uh, I want more coffee. I mean, not coffee, tea. What am I saying? I'll be right back. Oh, I have one other good thing to look forward to in a couple hours. Uh, I lent a wee little bit of money to a neighbor, and he's supposed to pay me back and give me $10 extra and hopefully a little bit of weed. I don't have any weed. I would like some weed. Weed helps with so many things. I mean, they say it helps with pain. I don't know, the jury's out on that, but one thing I know, weed is good for emotional pain. If you're going through, you're sad because your animals are dead, if you're worried because your homeless friends are all spread around and you haven't seen somebody in a while, or you're worried about your friends that are trying to get in rehab, or they're struggling with things, or you know that somebody's got depression and they're struggling with things, you can't, you got the weight of all your friends on your shoulders because you care. And let's face it, what's the alternative? To be an uncaring asshole? I don't want to be an uncaring asshole. So, but weed, I believe, it's kind of like MDMA in that it makes you want to love people, unless, of course, it gives you anxiety. It doesn't do that for me. Well, maybe because my tolerance is so high. And if you're lucky, you get real good weed here. And I know people that get kick ass weed. And a lot of the people I know that get it, though, they don't share it. Let me put this back on the board. Okay, I'm back. Let me see what the view is out my wonderful ghetto window. It's weird. There's very few cars parked on the street. Sometimes you would think that would happen during the days that they have the street sweeping. But I think because of the social service agencies around here, I think they don't have the normal thing where the street sweeping is one day a week, and so everybody has to move the other side of the street, which was my experience when I lived in Los Angeles. Here, I see so many empty parking spots. It's very, you can tell it has to be because of the cold. A lot of people come to this neighborhood just to buy drugs. And you'll have people that'll sit in cars and the engines will be running hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And in the summertime, I hate it when they do that because anybody has any windows open, your screen door, the fumes come in. It's so obnoxious. That's something I hate so much. I've gotten into more arguments with strangers over that. I'll run downstairs thinking I'm a fucking pit bull, and I'll say, "Look, the windows are open because we can't afford air conditioning. And when people run their engines, they're gunning their engines or idling. Those fumes go up. And if you have a stairwell, you live in a second floor walk up. Say this is your outside door, right? You got these stairs that go up. If you have your tailpipe close to the front door and there's no air movement, your carbon monoxide will go up the staircase and it get into your apartment. We'd be smelling the exhaust fumes from the goddamn cars outside. And my mother, now my you can hear what my sinus is doing right now. My mother has breathing problems. She's a heart patient. She only gets 30% of her oxygen when she breathes. You see my mom. She's a big woman. Okay. She's huffing and puffing. She's got atrial fibrillation. She's got a stent in her heart. So when you get these people that are idling their engines, they're impacting the quality of the air here. In Atlantic City, we're right on the ocean. You got all that fresh salt air. Well, guess what? When the casinos were first opened, we had all these day trips, these buses. People would be taking, a lot of them would be senior citizens, to gamble for the day. And it used to be the buses would be idling and idling and idling and ruin our air. We went from having the best, nice, clean air. The industry a lot of times pollutes. That's a fact. And we need the economic impact of having employment for our citizens. So all you guys coming to visit this town, there's a lot of people working here, living here. They're serving you your drinks, cooking you your food, playing your table games in the casinos or whatever, even though the people that get hooked on gambling, that is an unfortunate byproduct of this industry. And they say that it's very stressful working in the casinos, but that I've never done. I can't tell you. There are people I know that have done 30 plus years dealing in the casinos and they love it. But there are other people who I heard that 7 years is the average age of burnout. But again, I don't know this industry. I don't know that they would hire somebody that had my color hair. They didn't used to ever allow tattoos or anything, but apparently it got so hard to find people that they relaxed their standards on tattoos. But no, that doesn't impact me because I don't have any ink. You can't have a bunch of piercings either. I think they had to allow some Indian people to have certain kinds of piercings because, like, you can have, I think, a nose stud here and things. I don't know that they're cool with this. It's a shame I can't wear septum clickers. I like them a lot, but when you have a deviated septum, they're just crooked. They don't look nice. They don't hang straight. They're crooked. So I can't wear them. It's a shame. But I haven't bought new piercing jewelry in probably over 10 years. The last way, that's a lie. I did buy a belly ring that's pot leaves on it. It hangs down like this long. But I got so many early on, and with free shipping for like $25 orders or something, you get a whole bunch of them. So that's it. When you make investments in jewelry or clothes early on, then you have the stuff. And it's like these eyeshadow palettes. I got all of these eyeshadow palettes. I probably don't have to buy eyeshadow again for the rest of my life. The thing I have to buy are eyeliner and mascaras because after a while it dries out or else the germs happen. You don't want to get infection in your eyes. But if you already have enough of certain kinds of makeup, you know, if you have these things, I have enough. I'm good. But oh yeah, and lipstick, sometimes it goes bad too. It goes rancid. It gets nasty. I had about 15, 20 lipsticks went bad like in a month, a couple summers ago. It's like I had over 50. I had makeup from California from like probably the 90s. I don't know. Uh yeah, this stuff goes bad. Who'd have thought it? Or how's about when clothes dry rot and spandex in them, things stretch out? I had some mini skirts. It really bummed me out. It always fit me, here and here. And okay, I put on this one skirt, and all of a sudden, the waistline went from here down here. And so the hemline went down here. And if I have a hemline down here, then it's not going to work with the way I like to have my stockings and everything. I like a certain silhouette, and all of a sudden this thing stretched out. I ended up giving it away, and so it went from whatever the size was to it would totally fit a different body type. And so otherwise there's nothing wrong with it. I just passed it on. I've been giving away so much clothes lately. And it's funny. I think I'll feel this real compulsion to go and give somebody something. Okay, whatever you retracted, I didn't. I think I may have missed that. This is so hard for me to breathe, guys. It's really. Oh, it's just a reminder. If any of you guys live near a Popeyes, look down on the ground. Look for a slip like this. These are other people's receipts. Try to get a receipt that's like from the next 2 days. All of them, they have this thing here where you call up or you go on this website and you do a survey about the order. And they give you a certain code. You write it down. You go to Popeyes for the price of a large soft drink. You get a two-piece meal. So if you like their chicken, oh man, I like their Popeyes chicken, especially spicy. And I used to eat theirs a lot more frequently. Like when I lived in Los Angeles, there was one of the guys that used to like to watch me dance when I danced at the Ivar. He was a manager at a Popeyes, and he had a business card that would give you like 15% off. Which okay, that's not much. That's like what, sales tax off. I would get 6 biscuits at a time. Eat them. Oh man, their biscuits, they taste like they're fried and you got kind of salt on them, and they're so good. I'm probably making you guys hungry. And the thing is, I forget to eat. I don't come by my skinny totally accidental. I mean, some of it might be genetics, which how I don't know, because the women in my family tend to be morbidly obese. I lucked out. I growing up, I really thought that I was fat, and I was always 10 pounds heavier than I wanted to be. And when you go on auditions and one place after another, gotta lose 10 pounds, gotta lose 10 pounds. That's how it was when I was in Los Angeles. And it didn't bother me too much because I wanted to look good. And obviously, if you want to work, you have to have certain standards. They're trying to make it illegal to have a certain weight for jobs. But the thing is, I think that that's a slippery slope because I think that you need to have certain aesthetic standards for certain things. When they changed the requirements and the rules, and then all of a sudden you could try to get this go-go dancing work, and all of a sudden, instead of seeing what we think people want to see up there, then they change their hiring things. Like, okay, there's a place that I wanted to be a go-go dancer at here called Boogie Nights. It's an 80s, 70s style disco that plays music from the 70s and the 80s, and the people that work there get all dressed up, and it's a real theme club. It's a lot of fun. I used to go there fairly frequently, but when they were in resorts, I went there a lot. Open the door. Open the door. Yes, what's up?
There's another mouse in the trash.
Oh, in the kitchen? Uh-oh, we're gonna have a mouse pop. Guilty about something that happened yesterday. The mouse pop. Well, I saw a mouse jumped into the trash in the kitchen, and I took him outside, but I didn't want him to freeze, so I angled him so that he would run into a hole in another building. And it wasn't this building, it was a building up the street. And I hope that he went into that building. I hope he didn't die cold. I would not want to take him to his death. But the same token, well, let me see. Maybe he's in here. Let's see a mouse. Hold on. Oh, let's see. Oh, hello. Oh, okay, the mouse jumped out. He's there. Well, no mouse pops today. I feel bad for that. I hope he got in somewhere. Anyway, he's down on it. It's okay, baby. She's gonna kill me. But yeah. Does anybody else like their mice? I can't hurt them. I can't help it. They're cute. You ever look at them real up close. They're adorable. What can I say? I love my nieces. But when you live with mice, you have to protect all your food. Like my potatoes. I have to have them. Yeah, that's well, as long as I download my things. I didn't think see when I first decided to commit to a schedule and I chose Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, that made me nervous because committing to anything. And that means that you have a responsibility that you have to do. And I really do treat my YouTube channel like a job. And I don't mean like a job that sucks and you gotta, it's drudgery and I gotta get dressed and I gotta go out the house. No. When I say I treat this like a job, I mean I take it seriously. I know that just like if I have shows I like to watch on TV, I look forward to those shows, and I'm going to set my DVR sometimes to make sure that I don't miss them. That's one of the things that when I talk about how I want to get the hell out of here, I don't care if I have to put myself on the street just to get out of here. I could say that, but I will also say that I like having cable TV. I like being able to. Hi, I'm trying to read your screen name. Reviler Red? I look good with a red hat, but some of you guys might not like that. But you see, I gotta point him to something that is bad, like the crackheads outside. I did that. No, his son did that. But no. Okay, I want to say something that's going to piss off my fellow Republicans. I've been checking out Hunter Biden lately. He's not a bad looking guy. And no, I haven't seen the full money. I haven't seen the contents of the laptop and stuff, but he's not an ugly man. The president isn't either. And you know what? Some of Hunter Biden's art is good. How many Republicans are going to say that? You see, I am willing to tell the truth, even if it doesn't fit the narrative. I would rather conform to a narrative, but it's just like I'm pro choice. I believe a woman has the right to choose. The whole idea of being forced to take a pregnancy to term that you didn't want, or if you got raped or something, I'd be damned if I would be giving birth to any rape babies. And the fact that, and I never thought that we would lose Roe in our lifetime, that makes me sick. That is very stressful. That's why you guys got to stock up on your pennyroyal. There's certain herbs that take care of things. And this, actually, I shouldn't, I hope I don't got in trouble for that. But yeah, stock up on your pennyroyal, girls. I would love to see, because I know about both occult and some herbal medicine. I would love to talk about certain things here. I know that I've had people ask for more input about, witchcraft and different metaphysical things. But the thing is that YouTube has this thing about spreading disinformation or about anything that you just have to be careful about what you say. And I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, because if you kick somebody off of YouTube, the world gets deprived of knowing who they are. You might as well just shoot somebody dead. I don't want to die obscure, unknown. That's never what I wanted for myself. It doesn't necessarily mean that I want to be as famous as Madonna and have millions and millions and millions and millions. I mean, I don't know that I want to be that big mainstream. I would be happy with a healthy cult following because I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I know that I have too many weird component parts that might not seem like they go together. I know there's some people that do not like people based on a philosophy they share, a political party they like, or a certain person within the political party that they maybe really, really, really like a whole lot. But I do like Vivek Ramaswamy. Like I said, if Trump didn't exist, oh man, heck, if Vivek wasn't married, if he liked purple girls, hello, Vivek, don't make my heart break. For goodness sake. Uh, anyway, uh, maybe in 20 years, maybe he'll be president. I don't know. But we need somebody to kick ass and take the names that need to be taken now. And I hope it works out well. I want what's best for people. I want people to be safe. But that said, there are certain parts of the platform that I could never get behind. I wish I had some weed. And I'm not going to go running around. I don't think I'm going to go to Dollar Tree, even though I would like to get a um, calendar. I'm not going to go to the Angel Field, which is on Wednesdays. It's a place where people go and they get hot meals and clothes and different things. But usually, most of the food, no. The medical cards, they're expensive. The other person I live with, it's not my mother, he has a medical card. And you have to renew it every year. It costs like $100 to renew it. It was hard for him to even get it. Well, one of the things he has that's a qualifier is epilepsy, and that helps you to get it. And if you have pain issues, it helps you to get it. If you're under a psychologist or psychiatrist or whoever it is that is the kind of cuckoo doctor that you see to get psych meds and stuff, he sees that. And I know I'm sounding rude, and it sounds like I'm being nasty by saying words like cuckoo. Guess what? I'm not politically correct. I'm going to say things that are going to make some of you guys get butthurt. And that's just my style. I'm not out to hurt you, but I'm out to say I'm not going to waste your time with politically correct bullshit. And I'm just going to say how I feel. And I'm going to trust that you realize that I'm not out to attack anybody. And so, no, I don't have a medical card. And the thing, and I don't have any photo ID. And now, one of the things I don't understand, I don't know. Now, please don't ask me because I won't answer. But I'm going to guess that if I never opened my mouth and you didn't hear any of my stories, I'm going to guess that you probably assume I'm over 21. And I'm going to get real close here, and I want to show you my face. Now, I don't drink alcohol anymore. I haven't drunk it over 20 years. If I went to the liquor store to get a bottle for somebody, they not card me. Okay. Now, why is it if I went to a marijuana dispensary, and we have some that are recreational dispensaries. I don't think any of them are here in town except, wait a minute. There's one in the Claridge, which used to be a casino. It's now a boutique hotel. And there's one on Tennessee Avenue. I think it's called BMX or something. It has MX or something. They all ask for ID. Now, if you look free, white, and over 21, why the fuck you gotta ask somebody their goddamn motherfucking ID? Now, I know that was probably a lot of excess offensive language, and guess what? I'm saying it to prove a point. And yes, there was a time when it was common for people to use the phrase that I just used. I heard that growing up. My parents talked like that. Um, But why is it I wouldn't get carded for a bottle of booze, which could arguably give me alcohol poisoning and give me a death in a half hour? And if I went to buy cannabis, they would ask my ID. Please tell me why I have to be showing you ID, which I do not have, to buy weed. And yet I could go and buy cigarettes, that have arguably killed how many millions of people a year. Alcohol, which kills people all kinds of ways, whether it's a slow way or whether you get drunk and you get in a car and plow down a family. But I just wanted to get a couple of 8 balls or a couple, well, in a day. I just want to get a couple of eighths of weed or whatever it is. And oh man, Roz Williams. Okay, that for your age thing. Can we not say the for your age thing anymore? If a person looks good, they look good. If you say they look good for their age, well, I'm gonna say, well, uh, yeah, you can't. Just the for your age thing, please don't say it. Okay? Basically, that 22-year-old is beautiful. That 30-year-old's beautiful. But that person over there, well, their tires got some traction. Okay. You matter of fact, the tread's getting a little thin. And you stick the penny, most of the penny sticks out, but they don't quite have the toe tag, so they're not ready for the morgue yet. No, we don't say for your age. We just say you look good, unless you don't look good. And if you don't look good, you don't look good. But I can still be myself, and I can, you know, be myself. And most people of a certain age or for their age, they're not size twos and they don't wear these clothes and they don't look like this. Hello. Oh, and I'm going to say something about Hanoi Jane, Jane Fonda. Well, I hope I never slip that out if I ever meet her. She looks fucking awesome. She may have done dirty to the guys in the Vietnam War, but just let's forget about personalities, politics, all that stuff. Let's just talk about aesthetics. Does she not look amazing? She's in her late 70s. She's thin. Not that that's the only kind of beauty, but she's thin. She looks amazing. She looks fucking amazing. If a person looks good, and especially if you have the kind of money so you can afford the Botox, which I want so badly. Imagine when all this gets smoothed out. I just want the Botox, but you got to get that every 4 months or so. And that costs like 400, 500 bucks. See, if I the kind of money that people think I had, I would invest in smoothing my face up, getting my teeth fixed. I wouldn't do anything else. I'm happy with the rest of this. I'm not going to get these blown up. I'm not going to get liposuction. I know how to work out. I'm not going to get butt implants or any of these things that people do. Uh, okay, no. Most people, thank you. Most people just utilize the excuses of slower metabolism for why they end up gaining tons of weight. When it's eating more, the same amount, slower. Yeah, I I probably do a lot of wrong things, but I love healthy things too. I eat whatever I want, when I want. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. I will. I guess I do restricting without even realizing I'm doing it. I am so afraid of gaining weight. So I literally will not eat until I'm hungry. And now, if I have broccoli or cauliflower in the fridge, I will make that. Or I'll break that up and I'll cook that and I'll put that in ramen noodles. I will cook white rice. I do love white flour, white rice, all the things they say that you should cut out. So I do a lot of things that people say that you shouldn't do anymore. And again, I seem to be able to get away with it. But there's things I love. I love taking white rice and putting tuna and oil over top of it and shaking that lemon pepper seasoning on it. My God, that is so good. I love bagels. Bagels with sardines in smoked oil or smoked sardines in bagels. Oh, I love that. Or how's about lox on bagel? Oh, lox. I haven't had lox in a couple of decades. No, I beg your pardon. In a couple of years is what I meant to say. Lox. You just don't see it offered too many places. I used to go to Trader Joe's. different places in California, you can get locks in different packages. I just got the low battery sign on my computer, so I'm going to have to bring it over here and plug it in because I don't want this thing to be interrupted because my power went out. I'm actually from here. I was born and raised here, but from the time I was 11, I wanted to go to California. And so after I graduated, I went to beauty school. And I did a half a term of beauty school, and I decided to take a leave of absence because the nail fumes were bothering my sinuses. And I went to California to see if I would love it, and I did. And got to do the sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing because why not, right? I was very, very, very feminist, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about, and I wanted to avail myself of all the male privileges. And I saw myself as the men had the real freedom and they were able to um, go out and have fun and all that. And I wanted to do what they were doing. And I was pretty sure that I would get a lot more respect as a female counterpart there than I ever would in any small towns where you're just a floozy if you're even in the double digits as far as your history. God forbid you hit the triple digits and you, oh no, can't be having that. But I don't think that ignorance is anything to brag about. And I like having knowledge. I like having knowledge about myself. I like having knowledge about people. I like having knowledge about philosophy. I'd read more if my vision was better. But I really enjoy California. And yes, also another thing, some people, they say when you hit a certain age, you start to lose a bit of muscle mass, like 3% of your muscle mass a year if you don't do anything about it. But there's things people can do to combat that. I'm going to show you guys something. Please don't laugh at me. I mean, you can laugh. I don't give a fuck. Well, you know what this is? This is a baby weight. That's a baby weight. And I have two of these. And but I had nothing else to do. Uh, I use these. They have all these on-demand fitness things on cable TV. I got turned on to an Israeli guy by the name of Gilad Jankowitz. He has a show called Bodies in Motion. Sometimes he would do it out of Hawaii. Sometimes he would go to Israel. I love Israelis. I love the Jewish people. I support Israel. So there's this good looking guy with the curly hair and good looking men on one side and good looking women on the other side. Or actually, they weren't segregated, they were, working out behind them. But, and then I discovered that it's on demand, it wasn't just certain hours. I was doing this, it became a real compulsion for me. Some of my earliest YouTube videos were fitness videos, as a matter of fact, because I no longer had that I used to do, and I did not want to gain weight. I discovered fitness. You got to find things that are fun. And I discovered I love kickboxing. Boxing is so much fun. The guy that lives with me, he is related to me. I have to say this very carefully because sometimes he has friends monitoring my channel, and I have been warned that if I go public with this, he and or his friends will quote unquote string me. So I have to be careful how I say this. But no, I can't make him. I can't make him pay me what he owes me. Close to around $1,400. Can't make him do that. Can't make him give me weed. What I do is I stay out of his way. I try to stay out of the way of anybody with whom I have conflicts. It's less stressful that way. Stay down this end of the apartment. Uh, if it was not so cold, I'd be going out more, but in this kind of weather, it's just really not fun. Last time I went out on the boardwalk, it was a Sunday morning. It was when I was totally all bleached blonde out, and it was so windy. I had to stop 4 times in the various casinos to warm up coming home. It was really unpleasant. Now, on the 28th of this month, there is a free church dinner that I'm trying to tell all my homeless friends about. There's the same church that does the breakfast cart Sunday morning. It's real close to the Tropicana. He does this. And 1 day out of the month, they have a church dinner. And I know it sounds hypocritical to be very, very not that spirituality and yet availing myself of their charity and their food. But you know what? I'm sure that good half of the people that they're serving are not believers in their creed. It's like the people that go and eat at the Hare Krishna temple. They have on Sundays a Sunday feast. And if you like Indian food, oh my goodness, it's amazing. And I'm sure a lot of those people are just there for the food and they like the colors and the deities are beautiful and all that stuff. Now, I, as a metaphysical practitioner, kind of got into the Bhagavad Gita study. I have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita here, actually. But the only thing is that the Vedas, they are not uh, feminists at all. There was this passage that I read in the Bhagavad Gita English translation that said, and I quote, "Women are unintelligent and need protection from men." And when I read that, my jaw dropped to the ground. I was very turned off because I'm a woman. I am not unintelligent. Yes, there are times when I have needed protection, but and it's not necessarily from men. You need protection from bad people, period. It's not about gender. Occasionally it is about gender, but a lot of times you deserve protection from anything negative, anything bad. Thank you. Oh, oh, bossy female voice. If you think my voice is bossy, you should see my mother. Matter of fact, when people answer when people call on the phone, my mother almost always answers. They confuse her voice with mine. So that's we have used that to our advantage at times. Bassy, bassy. Actually, I do have a deep singing voice. I can handle Jim Morrison very well. I can't go as deep as oh, what's his name? That's the thing is my brain, my memory is not as good as it used to be, and there's things and names off the top of my tongue that I can't even say. Pardon me. I didn't even wear foundation today. I always wear foundation, and I just didn't bother. The thing I don't like about my singing voice is I don't have any professional vocal training. And the problem with my voice is projecting and controlling the breath. And there's a lot of techniques that real singers do, and they do well. And I went for many years thinking I had this absolutely abhorrent voice that was just, I could carry a tune, but I just didn't like my voice. I was in the freshman chorus when I was in high school. So I have a little bit of experience singing in a chorale. I can read music a little bit. because I played 2 years of violin when I was little. But I have come to peace with my voice. I don't love it. Uh, it's not as bad as I thought it was, but I could benefit from training. I have tried singing things that I thought for sure I could sing, and then I did it on webcam, and the playback, I wasn't happy with it, so I destroyed it. And until I'm confident in that, I am not going to bother you guys with it, except for the stuff I do when I'm busking. I think I did a song called Squirrels on here. And I guess that's on, well, I had my guitar with me, so I'm sure it's on whatever playlist it's on, but I'm pretty sure I did that. I got, in addition to those two little lavalier mics with the tiny little 6 foot cord, I got another microphone, cute little, absolutely normal look. It looks like a full size mic, except it's this big. And I thought all that stuff was here. I thought this was where my electronics was. I would still like to learn how to use this so I would have another camera to create my content with. I also have another uh, digital camera here. Now, this bothers me about my memory problems. I remember I've had a few little digital cameras before, and I figured out, I learned how to operate them. They have these buttons here that you have to press to get the different quality of the picture, to switch between still pictures and video and all that stuff. And I got this on wish.com for like $20 or whatever the hell it was. And it came with an instruction book translated into a whole bunch of languages. The English translation was in such broken English that between my mother and myself, we could not figure out how to work the thing because we could not understand the instructions. So, but I really would like to learn how to use this equipment. I would love to learn how to operate this so I could film it. Even though if I was to use it for YouTube, I'd have to stand in front of a mirror to film myself. But, and plus, I don't know if I could still use this since it came with a little disc you're supposed to put in the disk drive of your computer. And this laptop does not even have a disk drive. So, and another thing I want to do, I have a bunch of flash drives in here. I want to use my flash drives and stick it in I have the Seagate expansion drive. I don't know how many of you have seen this. Some of you maybe have. This is how I backed up my channel. When YouTube was done for me, I wanted to back up every single remaining video of mine. And I got this Seagate. This is a 6 terabyte hard drive, and it's got the cables. And I use this to back up my entire YouTube channel. And but 6 terabyte was they have even bigger than that. But and it seems like it's a lot of data, right? But I've had this channel for 12 years. And 12 years doesn't sound like a long time, but oh, and this is the Bhagavad Gita hardbound. I wasn't exaggerating. Okay, you said nice watching your pretty self. Oh, thank you. See, all these people who have responsibilities and jobs and all that stuff. I respect you. I really do. I just I would really hate to all of a sudden find that I had some kind of job that would interfere with my YouTube thing, because I love doing this and I really don't want to not be able to do this because I have to do other things with my time. That's why I really want to make sure that whatever gigs I take are only showbiz kind of gigs, and that they allow me to look the way I want to, at least not make me do anything with my hair. I just could not work anything where I couldn't be myself. I can't do it. I have to be who I am, at least aesthetically. It doesn't mean I have to feel comfortable and safe expressing everything about my appearance and my hopes and my dreams and my life and everything. That is a luxury I don't think everybody needs. But at least, and frankly, I don't think everybody needs to feel they need to know everything about everybody anyway. But I think people deserve to feel free and safe to be who they are. And I'm so funny. I think I should probably get going just because it's 10:55. I know by 12 noon I have to be monitoring for when that guy comes back, if in fact he is going to go to the bank and get me my money back and get me some weed. That would really be nice. Because, last time I bought myself eighth, an eighth is only 3.5 grams. And we forget this. We think of quantities and it's actually a weight measurement. And when I saw it was like three nuts easily fit in my hand. And I'm thinking, and I paid $40 for the privilege. And 24 hours, I smoked it up. So that means, okay, if I want to smoke every day and a month has 30 days, 31 days, 30 or 31 times 40. You do the math. That's how much my weed habit would be if I had to spend money on it. Is that a lot of money? Ask nicely. Oh, I fucking love Peter Steele. I had such a fucking crush on him. And the thing is, I heard that he didn't like short girls because he was like so tall and everything. I thought he was so fucking sexy. I only saw them three times, twice at the Chocadero Theater in uh, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And then I saw him in New York City. I forget exactly what the club was, but it was real close to Times Square. It was in Center City, or not Center City, but Midtown Manhattan. And I have gone to Juff's Brooklyn, which is where he and his band used to hang out. But it's such a drinking bar. It's like there's bars, they have dance floors and all these things, and it's not just about the alcohol. So if you don't drink, you could still enjoy them. But that place, it's you're aware that it's for drinking, and if you're a person who is committed to being sober from alcohol, then it's kind of stressful. Um, I'm I'm looking to see if there's something that I missed in the chat room. Yeah, the people who owe me will not give me what they owe. The only way I can get what I need is hope that occasionally somebody's careless and does things like come into my mother's bedroom and leave a lighter and a whole joint, which happened a couple of weeks ago. And I appreciated the lighter because my lighter is the gas stove. Uh, and the thing is, I very rarely bought it when I lived in LA. When I did speed stuff, I very rarely bought it. Every now and then I would get some, but for the most part, people shared. And I'm the kind of person that I show up to California, people see me right away. Oh, Leathur, great to see you. Look what I have. Come on, want to get stoned? That's so fucking groovy. Of course, what's also true is people will have cocaine and speed and all that stuff, and maybe they don't know that I quit, and I have to tell all these new people I don't do that anymore. Oh, what do you think's in my hand? Hair. A lot of witches save their hair, their nail clippings, all that stuff. Part of that is because it's a contact link, and if somebody wanted to do you wrong, they could take this stuff and they could stuff it in a voodoo doll or stuff, and they could use that contact link to hurt you. So we keep the stuff so that other people can't get their hands on it. I have, you can use contact links to help other people. Like I have my mother's hair, obviously, because I cut her hair and stuff. And if she was to get sick or something, I have contact links and I can light candles and I can direct energies to help her and stuff. Yeah. This this uh this ring always shifts, but this is not a fashion statement. This is I hardly ever take it off. It actually stays. This is one of my few rings that actually is real. It's real silver. Most of my rings I've gotten from wish.com and they're totally cheap. But I love Temu better because Temu, the shipping has been free. And I really have to save money. I'm not in a financial position where I can afford to waste money. But yes, I have been studying metaphysics since I was preteen. I used to listen to a radio show called Coast to Coast AM. It was hosted by a man who's dead now by the name of Art Bell. And they would talk about VFW, UFOs, spells to get a person out. I haven't tried. But I mean, most of the things that if I specialize in anything, uh, I try not to be too selfish with the workings that I do. I have tried things like helping people who have headaches, who are my friends, who say you're over in Australia. And these are things that, yes, I have done, but it takes, when you're generating energy to build it up to the point where you can discharge it in service of your goal. The building up of the energy takes concentration and it takes brain power and it takes your physical resources. It can actually wear you down and make you have a cold or something because you get tired out, and it can lower your resistance. That is a very common thing that happens when you're doing magic because it takes a lot out of you. So you find yourself needing to sleep and needing to maybe take vitamin C or something. I don't worry about my depleting myself because I would rather do what I need to do and take care of myself later. If something has gotten to the point where I feel that I need to do magic for it, and then you take care of what's necessary. Sometimes people will come to me and they'll tell me that they need help with things, and I will do things to help them. One thing I will not do though is there are people, and I'm noticing in some of the Facebook witchcraft groups, is that all these people are coming out of the woodwork and they're offering their services to read cards, to do these things for a fee, of course. And on one hand, that's very tempting. Why not use a skill to help to support yourself? And I have a time or two, like when I was on tour with the Grateful Dead, I read tarot cards to support myself on tour. I did very briefly. It was the Southwest Cities 1993 was when I did that tour, and I had a good time. Of course, I was a deadhead for the drugs. I wasn't a deadhead for the music. My motivation was show me the LSD and who has weed. And yeah, San Francisco is a great place if you like hippies. And I definitely brought out. I was definitely the hippie drowned out the goth influence, even though that was there too. But I could never go out to the nightlife in San Francisco because of the nature of how I was living. I was either sleeping on the streets or I was squatting, or every now and then I would get a room. Grateful Dead is your favorite band. I was in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park when he passed away. I was really surprised. I saw this cross-shaped sign, except it was like not long cross. It was just totally like red cross, and it said Jerry's Dead. And dummy me thought it was a new band I'd never heard of. I mean, if you're going to have somebody with a name like the Dead Kennedys, which I'm sure was a very traumatizing name for the Kennedy family, some names are really crass and I don't think are appropriate, but hey, people do them. Like burning priests, that's disgusting. And did you know that there is a craft beer that has a woman in chains that's being burned to death, that I guess she's supposed to be a witch, and that is on a beer label. And now I'm all about freedom. I really am. But can you imagine them having a beer label showing guys in white hoods lynching a black man? Do you think that would be on advertising? But no, you can have a beer company that shows a witch being burned to death. And that's not supposed to be triggering or offensive to people. See, this is where my libertarianism, freedom loving, but Republican person butts heads with my morality. Because I want freedom, and we all say we want freedom, but who gets to decide what's too much? And I'll think that some things are absolutely ridiculous, like the religions that say, oh, if you burn our holy book, we'll kill you. That is fucking bullshit. I burned the Scientology literature in Hollywood, California, and I thought I was going to get my ass whooped by them. Oh, Gucci. I'm trying to think, is it Gucci or what is the designer that they use a lot of senior citizens in their ad campaigns? And I think it's really beautiful. It's cinematic. You see, I guess it's somewhere, a garden somewhere in Italy. And you see these really interesting people. And I love when they use old people in things. I love when they use long haired guys in the models. What I don't appreciate is the artificial mixing. Like you're going to have three very different skin colored looking people, and they're always juxtaposed. You always have the blackest black skin dark person. Then you have a white skinned person that's maybe not even this white, but is still pretty white. And then you have somebody whose skin color is in the middle. You have, it's always this very artificially looking construct, like somebody obviously addressed, set this, dressed this set. It's interesting. My years as a movie extra in Los Angeles, I would see things where like the assistant director would place people in, say, a nightclub scene. And even though I believe that you're supposed to be quiet on the set and you're supposed to pay attention and you should have as much information as possible before you start to do your own thing. But one of the things that I consistently did was they would place people together to make it look like they were a couple at a table. And sometimes they would mix the races and they would be for club things depicting 80s era Gothic clubs. And any of you guys were in any Gothic clubs in the 80s, it was not extremely racially integrated. It wasn't. You did not have black and white, black and white, black and white, black and white couples everywhere. It was not a thing. I'm not saying there was never any interracial stuff on the scene, but it was very rare. And people will try to rewrite history. They will try to make things so politically correct to make it artificial and unnatural. And that's not how things were. And if I was placed where it looked like I was a couple with somebody and it just was artificial, people went elsewhere. And also part of it was I thought about my father. If my father happened to see this, he was not so open-minded about all this melting pot stuff as things are today. Like, I don't think my father would have appreciated the 90 Day Fiance series that I am so intrigued by. And hey, I'm just happy that people find love. And bottom line, if people are happy and they're not hurting anybody, I'm happy for love. I support people's happiness. I really do. But I also believe that there's nothing wrong with loving who you are and respecting your own culture. If everybody else is allowed to really get into their culture and celebrate it and be proud of them, why can't I celebrate my culture? Why can't I be proud? Should I be ashamed that I'm not an immigrant, that I'm a colonist, that my family came to America in those early ships in the early 1600s? Am I supposed to be ashamed? I'm not. I love my country. I love lots of countries, but I think this is a pretty groovy place, especially when it's at its best, when we're at our most free, when we can speak freely, when we can associate freely, when I can hang out with a group of my friends anywhere in town and not have to worry about the cops sneaking up on us while we're peacefully assembling. And you're right away got to do a check on warrants or something. Oh, you're a group of people. They must be up to something. Hey, they're not fighting. How's about why don't you let people have free associations? This is one of my critiques of the police when I was in California, is I would find myself hanging out with my friends who were maybe they were punk rockers or maybe they were crusty punks, or maybe there were different kinds of homeless people. Some homeless people look more homeless than others, and the cops sneak up on you, and then right away, face against the concrete, and then they pat you down, check you for weapons, all that stuff, and they do the warrant checks and stuff, and you can't even jaywalk in LA. They're real strict on you for that. They will give you it's like $100 fine, and if you don't pay your fine in a month, it doubles. It's really fucked up there. I'm gonna blow my nose again. I'm sorry. Oh man, so hard to breathe. Oh, you had a bunch of people going in and out of the bus there. They were making so much noise last night. I couldn't have. Oh, but that god awful noisy church did not do its thing yesterday. I think that's interesting. I can't imagine it was too cold for them. But we're expecting somebody to fix where there's a little bit of a roof leak that happened over by the end where that other roommate is, the one that I don't get along with. And the thing is, if anything happens to my mother, he has so many friends, they all have vehicles and stuff. They'll take him and they'll get him out of here. He'll have a safe place to go. If I can't get all my stuff packed up and somebody can't come and get me and take me to wherever, where the hell am I going to go? Even if I go and join my friends in sleeping bags under the boardwalk or wherever, assuming I get away with it. Well, I'm not saying it's what I want to do. I'm just saying if shit hit the fan, I am mentally prepared for those kind of things. I don't know if you guys understand this, if any of you have never ever been homeless before, but if you've ever been homeless, it never really leaves you. It's something that in the back of your mind, you kind of prepare yourself for. If this ever happens again, I know that I have certain skills that I learned during my experience with that will make it a lot easier and doable. Like you might have a bag that you have some empty bags so that if you need to, you could start throwing things in and get out. I have some luggage that I have used to store things, and then if you actually need it, then you got to take the empty stuff out and fill it. So now I have some empty luggage that I have, for the most part, found and cleaned up real good. If shit hits the fan, I can put whatever is appropriate I just don't see the point of packing those things up ahead of time because, say, for instance, I have a go bag that I have already packed. So if shit happens, I could jump out the window and go, we'll just say. But say it only has one or two makeup palettes and this and that. And I have so much makeup and things, I wouldn't know where to begin. That's why I don't have things packed up ahead of time. Like I have some things with underwear in them. I do have certain things, which, like, for instance, I have a big flat box that's mostly my colored stockings. Then I have another box that's just my black stockings. I have a bag that has my garter belts in it, for instance. Those things are very important for me. If you're me, let me test this. If you're me, you need these things. You need these things. And these, by the way, these stockings, this was actually, were these legs or were these, oh yeah, these were the bottom of a pair of stretch pants. Sometimes I use, arms and I make stockings on them. Like, for instance, I could cut this sleeve off. I cut this here. I could pull this up and hook it up. I get a lot of my stockings that way. Uh, see, LA, I have these two storages, but I need to go out there and I need to empty out one because it'll put my cut my rent in half. They're $77 a piece. So that's like $150 a month my family's spending on my storage. Now, you say you had a car. When I first went to California, I drove my Dodge Daytona Turbo Z cross country. And I was sleeping in that for a while. But all this stuff that I have won't fit in a sports car. It won't fit a jitney, which is why I want to get a school bus. But what I'm worried about with the school bus is I've never driven a bus before. And parking, finding a place that you could safely park the bus, and then trying to be discreet and not have people know that you're living in it. And now you got to worry about certain crime areas where in California you've got people that are doing carjackings, that think nothing of breaking into a store, ransacking it, and you're all wearing the balaclavas and everything. And what happens is, even if the cops catch them and bust them, the district attorneys don't press charges, so the people are let out right away. And then if they do, say, a violent thing, say you press charges because somebody beat up your mom, let's just say, and then a man gets mad because you had the nerve to press charges against me, I'm going to fuck you up when I get out of jail. So they get released, and then sometimes these perpetrators go back and they go after the people that snitched on them. So people are running scared. And I hear sometimes some of these district attorneys are trying to tell victims of violent crime, trying to talk them out of charges because some people believe that prosecuting criminals who are guilty of crimes is somehow racist. How the hell is that racist? Any more than if, say, I shoplifted a piece of candy and back when I was a little girl, my mom, she would pull my pants down, smack my ass, march me up to the counter, make me empty out my pockets in front of the cashier. See, my daughter stole, beep, 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 beep. Always got the spanking, And and parents these days don't spank their kids enough. And I heard in California, corporal punishment is outlawed. You can't spank your kids. I don't know if that. Correct me if that's actually not true. But I can't imagine not being able to discipline the kids. But I don't have kids. I never did. I was always afraid of pain of childbirth, and I was always afraid of getting fat and not being able to get my weight down because there's so many women that can't. But then there are so many that can. So it's obviously not impossible, but I was just too afraid. And I didn't realize how important it is for societies to have children so that you reproduce, so you replenish your birth rate, so that you're replaced. Because someday I'm going to die. But I didn't think about that. And when I came back here after 9/11, and it deprived me of a social life, because living here in Atlantic City, I can't meet single people. It's so hard to meet people here. Even when there were clubs to go to, And it's not like in California, I'm used to being able to meet people anywhere, including the city streets, walking down the street. You know how many lovers I met just crossing the sidewalk or whatever? Here, you can't meet people like that. I can't. And there are so many rude people that, hey, babe, how much do you charge? That's how they treat you. Or everybody's married, or everybody's got a significant other, or, or they have a different type, or the people that like me are I'm they're not my type, or I get a lot of attention from the gangster element, and that's not my target demographic. No offense, but that's not what I want. Heck, my father would disown me if I had such inclinations. But uh, but getting back to typo negative, oh my God, Peter Steele, my God, and I did get his autograph. And I'm not a person to go running up to people for their autographs, but in New York City, I did hang out after they played wherever the fuck they played, and I got a picture with him. But he was looking at some other girl, and she was some. I throw this word out, and it sounds rude, and I shouldn't say it, but I'll say it: plain Jane. And that's my term for the women who they just wear blue jeans or something, not very aesthetically very bright or flashy or whatever, and they don't wear makeup, or maybe they do wear makeup, but it's just very, 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 very subtle. And that just is not personally. I like drama and flash and bright things, and I like certain things. They make my heart sing. Just like I love the 80s hair metal look, and the look of the long-haired classic rocker people, the guys at Aerosmith, especially Joe Perry. Oh my God. But he's married for what, 33 years or something? And I'm not gonna be I would never think of causing problems for families and stuff, especially when you're watching these romance shows on TV. They're showing how stressful it must be for people in relationships and all these jealous people and stuff. And the thing is, I'm not a jealous person, even though I'm a Scorpio, because if you like the rock and roll musicians, and most of them are sluts anyway, you are setting yourself up for disappointment if you expect more than you're capable of. So that will cure you of your jealousy and there are some girls that just get so freaked out and traumatized by the sluttiness of the guys around them, and they just literally spaz out. It doesn't bother me too much because you can't. If you're going to decide that you still like this genre, you have to accept all that it entails. It's like if you like actors, if you like models, if you like creative people, there's certain things about the people in that lifestyle that they're just different than people that are not in that life. And I relate more to other people that are in the entertainment industry. I relate to actors because I was one. I relate to musicians. I relate to models. I relate to people that, even though they're a lot of times too busy to hang out with you because they're always working, but that is my world. That was my world. Those are the kind of people I relate to. And here I am in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where I am not in that world. And it gets very lonely sometimes because the only way that I can be in that world is to either talk online to the people that are still there, or I could go to visit, or it's hard. Do I like York? I did a little bit years ago. Oh, there's this one song, I forget the name of it, but it starts, "It wasn't supposed to happen." I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't like the swan outfit that she wore for, I don't know if it was the Academy Awards or maybe it was MTV Video Awards or something, but I thought that swan dress was really ugly. Uh, Now there is I what I really like as far as different music genres go, I really like house. I like techno. I like that. As long as it doesn't have hip hop stuff, rap stuff involved in it. Uh, and there are some artists that society seems to push you and tries to tell you you're supposed to love. And a lot of it is because we as white people are supposed to be guilty about things that we didn't personally do. Maybe our great grandparents may have done some things, but maybe they didn't. And so we're all supposed to be guilty. So we're supposed to love all these things that maybe we don't relate to. And I won't have that stuff pushed down my throat. And like there are some artists who they get on my nerves partly because they did a whole lot of campaigning for people that I would never vote for, and so they kind of get on my nerves. So, like when Beyonce and Jay-Z were parading Barack Obama around on Oprah and stuff, and so you're force feeding me these things, which, dude, please give me some Southern fried rock, give me some uh classic rock, give me things from my culture. Give me some Britpop. Give me some Morrissey. Give me some Susie and the Banshees. Give me stuff like that. But I really don't want to hear current things that I would be afraid would be polluting my own musical ideas. You like that swan dress? I thought it was weird. I loved the Trump dress that I saw. That I forget the name of that lady wore. I liked the Israel dress that was worn at the Met Gala. Uh, anything Lil Nas X wears, I think he is wow. And he has made read did interviews where he explained how he was traumatized by religion growing up and how the Christian churches made him feel that he was going to hell. And I think contributed to people molesting him or whatever things happened to him, he has a right to, and at least he gave people an explanation for why he creates these blasphemous works of art. Because he was traumatized from the time he was a child, and it really hurt him. And so he's acting out because he was hurt. And so I respect that he gave people that background information. So now there is some reason he's not just being defamatory just to defame. He is acting out. I was hurt by the influence of the church in my family, in my culture. And I was hurt. And this is why I am going to. And I think that for all the good that religions can do, sure, I will enjoy free food that church volunteers served and fed me. And I'm grateful for that. That doesn't make me a hypocrite that I may think the book is ridiculous or I don't relate to, or the book has been used to put people like me down. And by people like me, I mean, okay, witches, we were tortured and killed. Or me as a woman does not have the rights to the man. She's supposed to shut up. She's supposed to spread her legs for the man's pleasure. She's supposed to give birth to the man's children. She's supposed to stay at home and do what the man says. And when he comes home from hunting or gathering or doing whatever the fuck, she's supposed to give him his food, spread his legs, open her mouth, or whatever else he expects. One of the things that I noticed growing up, my mother, she was a stay-at-home mom, okay? She would be on her hands and knees scrubbing the kitchen floor, doing all this drudgery, all this housework. As much as I appreciate that I got to see the till death do us part thing, and my father did treat her right. As far as I know, he never cheated on her. He loved her. He was a little on the submissive side in that he didn't, mouth off at her and run her life, and he wasn't real macho and stuff. Yeah, what? What? No, I can't hear you. What?
You have one channel.
I am live streaming, so no, I don't have anything on. Why? What's up? Oh, okay. Well, tell me about it. My mom's watching The View. Yeah, I'd like to know if she's giving us anything new. My mother is real liberal, and she watches The View. And The View, all they do is talk shit about Donald Trump and say that Republicans are haters and all this stuff. But yeah, but religions do so much. They control through fear. When you thank them for their hospitality, they give all the credit to God. God, that I honestly don't believe exists, did not fix these meals that hungry people go to. I thank the people who, for they believe whatever they believe. They love people enough to take time to help hungry people. I appreciate that. All the people that donate clothes. Okay, this is not donated. This actually was given to me by my BFF. But the shirt underneath it was from a clothes pile. These socks. Okay. You've seen the ads for the Bombas socks? And they're all these fancy colored socks and stuff. But guess what? These black socks that I'm wearing, they say for everyone they sell, they donate one. All these black socks, the honeycombs, and they're the Bombas socks that they give to the poor and the homeless people. The fancy colored ones, you only see them on TV. But all of you're in any of these poor neighborhoods, excuse me, this is where the Bombas socks came from. So you can kind of tell, or a lot of people wear hospital sweatpants because they give hospital, or not sweatpants, scrubs. They give scrubs away. When I broke my hand and I had to dress myself and put makeup on and stuff to go to the ER, I had like a towel kind of thing. They had to give me a pair of sweatpants. Yeah, I like they have this thing that gives you an arch support thing. As long as I don't pull them too tight, pull up too much, because my feet are kind of sensitive on the very top of my feet for some reason. They seem to be sensitive. And I have start of bunions, I've been told, and I have arthritis also. But for the most part, the arthritis is hardly ever in my feet and my ankles, which is why I can still dance. My arthritis tends to be in my hands and places. Some days it's worse than others. Most of the time, I don't feel anything. Occasionally, I do. That's the only thing that makes me feel not so young. And if I look in my face and I see a couple of lines that I don't like, but those are the only things. Oh, and my vision's getting weird, worse too. But yeah. Okay. Oh, it's 11:31. Yeah, I am going to cut this a little bit short because that guy's going to hopefully pay me back. Anytime after 12 noon, the Salvation Army is going to be open. Yesterday, they had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So, I mean, see, I didn't bring anything home, but they had the tail end of the groceries from the ShopRite day. So I brought a couple of potatoes home and I got a box of crackers. Uh, but I'm going to just go there and back. And then soon the noise is going to be happening. And I obviously don't want to film and there's noise. So yeah, I think I'm going to now. This is gone running 2 hours, 53 minutes and 21 seconds on all 26, blah blah blah. So yeah, going on 3 hours. So I'm going to let you guys go so that I can blow my nose and do some more things. And I think I'm going to put sweatpants on to go and see what they got up the street. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. So it seems like I'm doing this daily. I love it. I love being a YouTuber. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for commenting and putting up with this great diversity of content that is what you get on my channel. And maybe I'll find some new today too. That would really be great. I need. I was recommended to you. Was this through Dumpstar and his thing, or because see, the funny thing about YouTube is when you're nobody and you have very few subs, they don't show you too too many people. And if you have a couple of videos that do kind of better, then they show you to some more people. And I noticed that since I have gotten past my 1,000 subscriber threshold, which I didn't think would happen, honestly. I thought for sure YouTube would kick me off before that happened. But now they are showing my videos to more people. And I am so happy that you guys are digging it. And I just hope that I don't start to have people getting angry at me because, oh, they hate this guy, or how could she be a Republican and still support Roe v. Wade? Or how come she has gay, lesbian, and bisexual friends? I I don't discriminate. I I don't want people to all of a sudden hate me because they find out there's something that they don't like. And please don't be judging me based on the limited medical care I gave my animals. Veterinarian care is so fucking expensive. I always do spay and neuter things. When, hey, how do you say this? Pua Balfour? Thank you for coming to see me. I feel like Sally Field when she got her the Academy Award, and she said, "They like me. They really like me." And she was just like when she was on the Flying Nun back in the 60s, and she was just so sweet. Oh, there was a video of my cats and Money Worry. Oh, okay, yeah, that was I filmed that yesterday. Well, the backstory is somebody that I lived in California before, even though I'm from here originally. And usually it's really great to see people that you knew from your past. But when she watched my cat videos involving when my cats were dying and I had a funeral and everything, she judged me because I didn't have my cat put to sleep by a vet. First of all, I think that's murder. My mother's not doing too well. She's got heart disease. Would I take her to Canada where I heard they allow assisted suicide? Would I have take her to a doctor and say, hey, my mom's sick and she's tired, give her an injection and put her down? No, I wouldn't do it. If I wouldn't do it to my mother who's sick and not doing too well, why the hell would I do it to a companion animal? That's where I will never think it's okay to just have an animal killed. Okay, I could see if, and this has happened, say the American Indians. I won't say Native American because who's to say who's Native? You know, there was a land bridge that Caucasian and Asian people crossed over from Europe, whatever, came to this, well, not this area specifically, but used the land bridge where the Bering Sea now is, crossed over. So, yes, there were people, white looking people here too, thousands of years ago. People like to say, oh, I was here first, therefore I'm the only true native. Dude, with that kind of reasoning, everybody's going to be putting everybody's eye out over, I was here first, I was here first. There were civilizations that were probably here hundreds of thousands of years ago that natural disasters destroyed our records of that we will never know they existed. They were probably way more advanced than us. Look at what they say was the people lost civilization of Atlantis. They were doing things with crystals, and they had energy sources and things which we will never know about. We may never know about today, and they're gone, so we don't know. So for people to be saying, "Oh, it's like caring where you sit on the bus when everybody's going to the same place," it's a little ridiculous. But that said, uh, I love people as long as you don't cross me. Jack or Amir Udin. I hope I'm saying your name right. Amir, I like you. Amir has been watching me for quite a while now. Okay, before I do that, let me blow my nose because I really having breathing problems. I gotta get tissues. So hard to breathe. Oh, hey, does anybody know if this cat refers to anything? I can't put it on my head because it fell on the ground. I gotta clean it, but I love cats. This is not the Aura mask. This is a Drager, Drager, N95. It's 11:39. I don't know how well you can hear me talking. My black. Okay. Let me see how where the I'm going to unplug my computer so I put it back further away. I have done the test where you try to blow out a candle to see how good it seals. Of course, Mike Pence, he's kind of dead to our eyes now because he did turncoat against Trump. He was disloyal. And as far as the 6th of January, I was supposed to be there. Good thing I wasn't. I'd probably be in prison right now. Okay. It is now 11:42 a.m. I know I showed these before, but I'm going to show these again. Some of my stickers. Falling apart here. And my boy Rudy, only politician I ever donated to his campaign twice. I sent him $25 twice. He would have been a great president, but he didn't try enough to campaign. He didn't campaign until he hit Florida. And if you're going to run a presidential campaign, you got to take it seriously. You got to be there for the Iowa caucuses. You got to do everything. And he didn't do it hard enough. Now, I don't know what happened to him. Is he get Alzheimer's or something? Or did he just file for bankruptcy, or is it both? Uh, well, any such vlog will not be happening today because right now the temperature warmed up. By warm, I mean it's 23 degrees. That's still below freezing. So I don't think I'm going to be doing any kind of socializing or whatever today, except I might go to Dollar Tree to get calendars. I don't have any calendars to speak of, and I hate. I'm running my channel blind. See, one of the things I usually do is I have a big uh, notebook that every page is the videos, like show notes, putting together the video, assuming I did show prep ahead of time. Because Amir has been watching my videos for years, and I don't know how to explain this to you without when you're a content creator and you have different people who come to your channel for different things. And it's like I'm sure there's lots of people that watch my videos because I wear short skirts and I wear garter belts, which many people fetishize. I'm sure there's lots of people that watch my videos because of that. And that doesn't bother me. That would be like if I said, oh my God, you're objectifying me. And yet I've made my livelihood as a dancer. I've made my livelihood as a model where I'm basically being paid for my image, my face, my body, people's fantasies, whatever. I'm not going to, in any good conscience or with any logic, say, I'm doing these things. I'm getting the energetic gratification of knowing that people like this. And there's a different energetic feeling. I might be getting money because maybe this is my job. And then I'm going to go around and say, oh my goodness, the objectification of women. Oh, this is so superficial. Hello? If people are getting positive reinforcement feedback from this, if they are maybe that is their livelihood, then they can't complain about, oh, I'm pandering to the interests of whatever. And so, yes, I don't mind that people watch me for different reasons. There's people, the potheads love that I like to talk about pot. Okay. There are people who like color and like fashion who will watch my channel. There are uh, people of all different kinds of lifestyles that like me because every now and then, when I feel it's safe, I will throw them bones of different kinds, like acknowledgments that I see them. Like, say, if you're a gay man and you're watching my channel, then I make references to certain cultural figures that they might love. Maybe they're LGBTQ celebrities. Maybe they are politicians who were shot dead trying to uh, be in service of civil rights, like Harvey Milk, for instance. I'll make references to things, and they'll see I have been seen, and that is a very human need. So I and the thing is, I asked him, by the way, if it was a fetish, and he said it wasn't. At first, I thought maybe this is a fetish. Maybe this is a little bit like the women who cover up and all you could see is the eyes. That occurred to me too. But the way I saw it, it was not harming anybody any more than if somebody watched my channel just because they wanted to see me wear short skirts, hoping that maybe when I did my turnaround, I would accidentally have a wardrobe malfunction a little bit and you saw my underwear or something, which even in a grand scheme of things is not that big of a deal. Oh, wow, you could tell that she's wearing whatever color. Really, who cares? Is that going to pollute the youth of America? What about isn't there a thing that they said on the in the schoolyards? I see London, I see France, I see blah blah underpants. I mean, really, where's the harm? And when you have a general channel like mine, as opposed to a niche down channel, I have like this variety channel where I talk about whatever the fuck I want. And so I don't always know why people watch me, but I'm glad you do. And I don't want to be a sellout. I don't want to be somebody that has to watch what I say because of this person, that person. I watch what I say because I don't want YouTube to take me down. So I don't talk as much about him as I want because I don't want YouTube to take me down. I don't give you as much information as I would love to share with you, like about how in a post-Roe age, how us women and girls can protect ourselves. I would love to talk about things like that, but YouTube would probably shut me down because they would say I was giving unlicensed medical device uh, um, advice, and I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or an Indian chief. Okay, but I do know a few things. We all have skills and knowledge that somebody could use. So, but I throw in a few hints there that if you're wise, you pay attention to. Stock up on your pennyroyal. Black and blue cohosh is another thing. Unless you're not bleeding anymore, in which case you don't have a need of those things. But I'm just saying, there's things that people can do, but you shouldn't have to in a perfect world where healthcare is a human right and where you should be able to go and get the healthcare you need. Amir, I am glad you watch my videos, and I don't see anything wrong with thinking about, oh, I hope Amir comes in the chat room today, so I want to have some masks here and some things so that I'm prepared if I see an okay, decent guy. If that's the case, I've been a stripper before. Do you think I haven't seen out of the corner of my eye some hand movement going on in those audiences? Now, while I'm not going to say to you that that's something anybody wants to see, I sure as hell don't. But there are some realities in this world. While that may be objectionable, if, say, a girl kicks off her underwear and it flies into the crowd, and say a guy finds his underwear and he sniffs it, right? Then he folds up a dollar bill or a 5 or 10 or whatever he ties that to it. Then somebody else finds the underwear, does the same thing, puts more money in it. The underwear is full of money, then it gets thrown back to you. Now, obviously, I wouldn't put it on dirty, and money is real dirty, but am I going to complain because somebody has given me a bunch of money? Come on, man. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, I object to this, but, oh, but there's money involved. So guess what? You have to kind of accept things as they are. If there's things you want to change, yes, do change, but don't complain about being objectified when everybody likes to be appreciated. Everybody likes to feel wanted. Everybody wants to support themselves somehow. And Amir, I tried to tell people that things are not always what people think. And because I made my assumptions at first and you told me otherwise. And then I thought maybe because I thought your name, Amir, maybe you are used to seeing women that only show their eyes and maybe they're covering more. I don't know. And I made assumptions, and a lot of times we make assumptions that are wrong. And I thought to myself, even if that was the case, how am I harming anybody by going ahead and putting on some masks and things? You enjoy it. I don't think that indulging some people the things that they like and you're not harming anybody, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing any more than if, say, somebody was to come right out and say, oh, Leather, I specifically watch your videos because you wear garter belts and stockings. Now, for me, that's a very important part of my image, and I wear them, and I wear them because I love them. I don't wear them because I'm trying to turn anybody on. I have certain image things that I just love because I like the aesthetics of it. That's only reason why. I'm not trying to be sexy, but that said, if you like it, what's wrong with that? It's like this. I would wear this if I was going out to a club, and if, say, this club had a bunch of good-looking human beings in it, say the guys were real hot and the girls were beautiful, and maybe there were some people that I didn't know what they were, but they were there to have a good time. What is wrong with that? What's wrong with looking attractive? I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that looking attractive is a sin. I don't think that being responsibly hedonistic is a sin. I don't think that that's a bad thing as long as you're not hurting people. Actually, the most offensive thing about this channel right now is some of the comments that are being put in it. Do be aware that some of that terminology does seem a little rough to some people, even though I know I have no room to talk because I throw words like cunt and fuck around all the time. And some people, for some reason, really hate the C word. And I don't understand why. I'm not that bothered. Amir, let me tell you something. You know that I believe everybody is responsible for their own actions. And some people say that when you're a YouTube content creator, you should police what people say in chat rooms. But I do not believe in censorship. So I'm not going to tell people what to say and not to say to each other. I would prefer you guys all get along. But that said, yeah, I would prefer everybody to get along. And maybe not draw conclusions about another person's intent, especially if the person that you're assuming about tells you that that's not where their head's at. Sometimes it's good to actually believe people and yeah, just for whatever reason you watch a person's content. I have a very diverse audience because I make all kinds of different content. I have some people that really, really, really can't wait for me to do my makeup tutorials and stuff. And there's other people that love it when I talk politics. And there's other people that like it when I talk about cats and whatever. And some people, they like to know what's going on with the homeless and poor situation here because they have a personal connection to poverty, or there's people who maybe used to be here and want to come here. There's all kinds of reasons. And so for that, and yes, if I can indulge different people who want to see different things that I'm known for presenting, sure. There's no harm in that. Okay, you guys, it's 11:56 a.m. They're going to be open up next door, and in case they have something good, sometimes they give me sodas and things. I want to be able to go next door. You know what? I don't think I'm going to bother putting on my warm clothes. I think I'm just going to put that warm jacket on, and since I'm just going around the corner, uh, God. So yeah, can you maybe you guys can refrain from being mean to each other and stuff? That would really be groovy, okay? And I hope I find some weed today. Yes, thank you. Hope I find some nice weed. Yeah, because dirt weed doesn't really do too much for me. I need to really something that's tasty and fragrant, all that wonderful stuff. So thank you for watching my channel. Really, it's been 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 44 seconds and counting. So you guys are really stuck in there. And oh, and I want to do some cooking sometime this week. I would like to I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be something I love. I don't like to show that kitchen too much because it's kind of messy. But if you see just the cooking area, and if I try to not show you the mess, you know, I was wondering they have this thing called Hello or Hello Mood, and they sell this stuff. It's a different kind of THC. And the thing is, I'm concerned about that because I really prefer stronger stuff. And they have this stuff that they sell under the farm bill. They say it's made by hemp, and and that's the thing is that I don't want to spend my money on something and only to be disappointed by it. I want to know if it's going to kick my ass, just like some really, really, really great chronic or whatever. And I'm wondering if, say, I try one of those companies, which I can't buy from anyway because you have to send them a copy of your state issued photo identification. And I don't have any ID with my picture on it. So I have to get my weed from the gang guys outside or from people who have got from the dealers. Or there's this one guy I know who actually works at a liquor store and he sells weed outside the liquor store. He doesn't really sell it out of there. He just goes to the outside and he sells. And that's what people are doing. But like I said, that $40 for that eighth lasted me 24 hours. So can you imagine if you had to spend $40 every day just for your weed? That's fucking a lot of money. And that's why free is my friend. Okay? So, all right, New Jersey is fully legal. The only thing is they do not allow for personal cultivation, even though I have tried. But how I screwed up, I have a pretty green thumb. I am an organic gardener. I grow vegetables, I grow herbs, all the, a lot of the kitchen herbs I grow. But they do not. Oh, I'm glad I didn't break this. I thought this had a crack on it. They don't allow for personal cultivation here. And how I screw up when I grow weed, I didn't cure it. After you dry it and you take it from the thing, you're supposed to actually pull the buds off, put them in a jar, test for the humidity. And very few people have the kind of apparatuses that can test for and tell you how much the humidity is. And so as a result, I never put the stuff in a jar, and all I ended up growing was like some kind of jertweed. Hold on a second. Back in a minute. Sorry about that. Oh, now, even though I'm technically clean and sober, I'd be game to do shrooms again. Oh. One time, though, I got bunked on shrooms in San Francisco. This old white farmer guy. The last person you think is going to bunk you on any kind of dope, right? So I get these shrooms and I do them. It wasn't a lot. And I got this, I got sick to my stomach, which oftentimes I understand can happen with mushrooms. And I actually barfed right on the floor of this place called 39 Fell, which, if any of you guys know San Francisco, 39 Fell is both a detox place and also has shelter beds. And matter of fact, 39 Fell was where they let me in when I was frying on acid, and nobody wanted to let me in, and I just wanted to get in out of the cold, because when you're on acid, I think you really don't like to be cold. So correct me if you think I'm wrong, but if you've ever been on the street and you're frying on acid, you don't want to be cold. So yeah, you gotta. That's what I'm worried about. Is every time, all the in-person places, you have to show ID, and it's bullshit. The dealers never card anybody, and they're selling all kinds of, heroin and crack and all this stuff. Nobody gets carded, and you're gonna check my ID to see if you could sell me weed. That is such bullshit. Especially if there's places that wouldn't card me to drink alcohol. Virginia Beach, there was a Kiss tribute band called Shock Me that were out of Virginia Beach. And the guy that played Ace Frehley, his name was Angel Z, Zee. I wonder if they're still in Virginia Beach. I used to go to these Kiss expos. I stopped going, I think, just after my father died. I think I haven't been to them since, partly because at the Kiss expos, nobody's single anymore. It becomes this real family thing where you got these people's grandchildren are elbowing you to take a look at the memorabilia and stuff. And it's like, once I realized that I was like the only single person that was there, and there was all these grandpa types and grandma types running around and all these little kids, it was less motivation for me. Plus, a lot of people there were still into drinking. And once you're sober and you see all these people having fun by the bar, that just kind of, it's a little sad. Oh, I miss New York City. I used to go there. I used to never miss a 9/11 memorial, the ground zero ceremony and stuff. I've been going to those since the very first one, when I did one side of my hair black, red, and one side of my hair blue. And I don't usually deviate from purple. I mean, I've been putting colors in my hair since I was 17 years old, literally. My sinuses are so fucked up. Oh, do you remember this? My cat's bed. I miss my cat so much. So they have a lot of services that'll drive and sell you weed. And the thing is, sometimes they charge, like, they have uh, zones that they drive in. And if, say, it starts in northern New Jersey, if you want to drive all the way down there, they charge like $50 just for the delivery fee. Plus, most of them still check your ID. Now, I would think it should be like standing in line to go into a club. Okay. If I'm waiting buy the velvet rope to get into a club, and there's the big muscly bouncer. They should eyeball a person, and you should be able to look a person damn well and not fuck with them. You know how many clubs I talked my way into in California through the years? Because for years, I often didn't have ID. And I figured the only real need to have ID, unless, of course, I could see if it's a driver's license, you need to have a driver's license to be driving. But if you're over 21 and you don't, that's the only reason why you need to show ID, is to show that you're a grown up, right? So if you're over 21 and you're not even drinking, you should not need to show ID. If we live in this free society, not like Nazi Germany, where you had all these um, cops or whatever they were driving around, stopping random people to ask them for their papers. We don't do that here in America. We are a free civil society, right? So then why are you supposed to have ID on you in case the cops happen to stop and jack you up? And of course, that was another reason why I didn't carry ID on me, because I didn't want to, back in the day when I was running around California, I did not want to have ID on me so that if the cops stopped you, they would know who you are. Even though I didn't have warrants or anything, I just happened to feel that since I know I'm not doing anything wrong, who I am is really not your business. If I know I'm not hurting people, I'm not breaking laws, and we live in a civilized society where you can't just stop somebody with no probable cause, that's called unreasonable search and seizure. I know a thing or two about the United States Constitution and our Bill of Rights. And that's something I highly, if you're watching my videos, I highly encourage you, wherever you live, to where learn what your rights are. It doesn't mean you're always going to feel safe asserting them, but know your rights. There are so many people that take people's ignorance for granted. And if they know that you're afraid and you're intimidated, you won't stand up for yourself and you won't exercise your rights. And there are people counting on our collective ignorance. So if we can teach each other, if you can learn through resources, the ACLU, they don't do a lot of things I agree with these days, but they are American Civil Liberties Union. They publish little pamphlets telling you what your rights are. Different states have different rights. Like, for instance, I have some information about filming during protests in the state of Pennsylvania, which is not going to help me here in the state of New Jersey. But I used to keep them over there. Let me see if I have some of that stuff. Not here. Not here, not now. Oh well. Yeah, my sinuses are just fucked up. I'm trying to remember the name of this place in Philadelphia. I think it's called 42nd Latitude, but they sell cannabis products that are legal under the Farm Bill, but they have this thing called moon rocks. They're big nugs that are I don't know, high THC weed, and they're rolled around in keef. So they're covered with all these sparkly crystals full of THC, and they taste real thirsty green. And oh boy, matter of fact, they don't sell them. You know how usually you get these bags that are 3.5 ounces, but they sell for the moon rocks. I believe they only sell them in gram bags. So I could probably smoke moon rocks by the pound. But that's the last thing I got from them. They had a couple of cannabis festivals here in town. Oh, and that's another thing that pisses me off because of the person that I live with. He loves weed also. He is kind of known for his love of weed. He has a thing that I don't want to say what it is that he's known for, because I don't want his friends to find his channel. I don't want the trouble. But whenever there's a cannabis convention of any kind, except for the very first one, if he's making a personal appearance there and if they have an admission charge, I'm not welcome. Do you know how many times there are bands I wanted to see at different little hole in the wall bars around here, that if the person I live with was going to say he was working for the promoter, I can't see anything, any of those bands, even if they were friends of mine, because the person I live with whom I do not get along, is working security or whatever. There are things where he was making personal appearances about marijuana, right? And I couldn't go to these things. First of all, they had admission charges that were like 25, $30 just to get in. And then they had some cellars that you could buy weed and stuff. But there are things that I would have loved to do that I was personally not welcome just because he and I don't get along and he is the master of ceremonies or the star or, you know. So there are a lot of things that I can't have access to, even though I live here in town. Imagine if the things that you love the most, you were kept out of because of bad politics. That's the situation that I'm in. So there's so many reasons why I want to get the hell out of here. But if I could just get a used school bus, take out most of the seats, move in, I want to have a blank wall like this so I can film against it. I want to have all this cat stuff so that when I get cats in my life again, I'll have things for them to climb around and stuff. Now, CBD, I heard that if you have just even a tiny bit of CBD, that makes it full spectrum as far as cannabinoids go. And I heard that that enhances the high as opposed to the weed that is all THC and doesn't have any CBD. But it's gotten so complicated now. And they say there's all different kinds of weed for all different kinds of effects. And for me, it kind of boils down to some weed is stronger than others. I like the stuff that I could feel. I noticed some weird things. If I'm smoking out in public with my friends, a lot of times for some reason I don't feel it at all. Whereas if I'm home, I feel it more. If I'm smoking a blunt, the tobacco in the weed removes some of the weed's ability to get me high. The tobacco just, first of all, I don't smoke tobacco. And so, you know how we smoke weed, we draw real deeper. And you're not supposed to smoke tobacco like that. And I've been told by people that are passing blunts around that I don't smoke it properly because I'm used to smoking like I smoke a joint or a bolt, or I'm real hard. And when you're smoking blunts, I guess you're doing it lighter. You're letting the smoke dance around in your tongue or something. But the thing is, you still want to get the marijuana into your lungs. And I don't understand. They get this really kick-ass weed that especially the dealers on the corner, they're smoking. They have the good stuff they smoke for themselves, right? And that's the kind that they put into blunts. And when they throw the roaches around, which is why I go scavenging for the roaches. And I've heard people say that I'm taking my chances because you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if somebody put fentanyl in something or whatever. I don't know if anybody's putting fentanyl in weed. Maybe somebody's doing it somewhere. I hope to hell nobody's doing it around here. But that said, I got fentanyl test kit things here. I got boxes of Narcan. They're distributing it because there's so many people that are dropping dead off of all these terrible drugs and stuff. So they obviously need to do things to keep people from dying. Okay, it's 12:19 p.m. I really got to go and get something up the street. Thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for being there for me. I didn't think I would hit 1,000. I didn't think I would still not be kicked off. I'm grateful. I never want anybody to think that I'm not grateful because I am. Even though I know I bitch and complain about a lot of things, but I am very grateful. So thank you for watching me. And I don't know when I'll see you. I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be live or it's going to be the thing that I filmed for you yesterday. I might be doing more filming today. I don't know. I will talk to you, though, I'm sure tomorrow. So thank you for everything. And I got to get a calendar. I absolutely have to get a calendar. And I hope I find Garfield soon so I can bring him and give him some more kisses. Okay. Talk to you soon. Thank you for everything. See what's anything's out there. Yeah, there's like nobody in the parking lot except for the mail carrier guy. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.